Jesus. Took away from the deck. Please and thank you.
Can we get the lights on?
Oh, I don't need them right now. Let me put it somewhere.
Ready. Far away from electronics.
Stuck by it too.
I'm ready.
Little rattler for the voice.
That's a super slept on song, by the way.
Yeah.
Anderson Paak.
Keep singing. Keep singing.
No, it's another one.
You guys are on, by the way.
Oh,
shit.
oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Okay.
Hello, this is Jessa.
What up?
Welcome to the Shot Club.
How are we today?
I'm here with Mo.
And I'm here with Jezza.
And we're here.
Here we are.
You'll see you two are missing, but they're not missing. They're just late.
You know how it is.
They're running late.
Remember, I used to be the late one? Things have changed in 2018.
All right. Me and Mo used to be like, well, always last.
Yeah. We used to be the latest monkeys in the...
In the jungle.
And here we are. Just
So
early. Oh, actually, on time.
early.
So,
on time.
yeah, we got Bylon. What a Bylon.
Yes. What long? You gotta get your drop. You gotta get a drop that says DJ Bylon.
Oh, coming right up.
DJ Bylon.
You got that.
You have it?
We got that.
Bylon.
Coming right up.
Coming right up.
Come on.
Come on.
Let's go.
It's coming.
Let's go.
It's coming
It's
right
coming.
up. You guys ready for it? Wait for it. Wait for it.
DJ Bylon.
Oh, I wasn't far
Makes
off.
me horny.
Wow.
DJ brings the cheesy every time.
What did you bring?
The cheesy.
Oh,
He
okay.
brings the cheesy every time. Let's get dirty with DJ Bylon.
all right. I'm the original cheese.
Oh yeah, you're the original cheese. I'm the veggie with cheese.
Burger. So that being said, we're happy to be here. We're week 16.
It's episode 17.
Episode 17.
Yes, it is. So yeah. How was your week?
My week was lovely. Getting into a nice routine here in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, back at the gym. Not that I ever left the gym, but back on a good schedule. And at the shop, tattoo shop, Matchbox Tattoo. Look
If
us
you
up.
guys don't know yet, he does have a shop.
Yeah, just got my back done.
The first container tattoo shop.
That is right, Toronto's first.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Canada's
You got
first.
like a big day show or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I did.
And why? Why the day show?
It's for June.
I don't even want to go.
Let me move a little bit over.
What'd you say?
Why?
Step in.
Dad's ex-wife would you get a kitchen?
It's not ex-wife.
I mean, sorry.
What up?
Widow wife. What up?
She's Japanese and she loved to paint, so it's a geisha painting.
Painting. Okay, the painting.
Yes.
Yes. Geishas are Japanese.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
true.
Hey there! How are you?
Hey there, bud.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
I recognize that bottle.
Oh, this is
Oh,
Santa Carolina.
Carolina.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So your weekend.
Yeah, I know. It was nice. We had a little wine Wednesday on a Saturday. Yeah.
So yeah, tell us about that. So as you guys know, we're gonna be having a project coming up soon. So we started scheduling studio time.
Yeah.
So first studio session, Mo and Trace made it up.
Yeah.
Trace, you unmuted?
Yeah. It's a good look. Truthfully, when we started this show, how many restarts did we do until we got going? So
Dude, were we not all supposed to be at the other session before? Where we created this way?
which way?
This way?
That way?
That way.
Sorry, you'll understand when it comes out. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I just got here.
Okay.
Welcome to the Shot Club, you sons of bitches.
Any word on
Well, where's the hoodie? From the text, he said he's on his way, so he's on his way.
oh, it's up there.
We should have
Oh,
dropped it. Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
First and foremost.
So my dad just came back from Cuba.
Okay.
He's like, "Hey, son, got you some rum." Gives me the bottle. I'm like, "Oh, oh, thanks, Dad."
You missed the part where you said half. a bottle of rum.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
You didn't bring me anything. I got nothing.
Ring a
So,
ding
yeah,
ding.
so how was your week?
Ding ding dong.
It was alright. It was alright. I was telling Mo I started doing this 16-hour fast during the day.
Oh, see, I'm doing that.
Yeah, the intermittent fasting. Yeah. It's pretty dope. Cool.
Oh yeah, sorry. You want to pour some more?
No, the other ones are good.
Okay.
Is this mine?
Ring a ding ding. Ninja style.
I'm so off. Like, yeah. Where did that come from?
That's from that video, which we'll discuss.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Little things, yeah.
Oh.
Let's see the shot.
Okay, let's do this. Anyways, how are you guys? You know, we're just getting warmed up.
Yeah.
Shawarma.
Shawarma.
Here we go.
Oh.
Woo!
Where's that from? That's Cuba.
Cuba.
Oh, smooth, straight. It is. Cuba. Oh,
That's how you like it, eh?
Cuban?
Smooth and straight.
Tread lightly, my friend. I'm just gonna do the chicken in 10 minutes.
You like skinny vaginas? Okay, we won't even.
Oh man. Did you guys discuss the?
We haven't discussed anything.
Okay. Party last night, sir?
Oh yeah, let's talk about.
Oh, it
Oh,
was a fun work party.
I wish we could cut this in. Because this
Show
is
my-
somebody randomly sent me this today. He'll send me like the odd weird little video or meme or whatever. So sent me, where is it here? Question. Do you have the Jeopardy music?
It was next week.
But it just really reminded me. I know I said I pictured it. So Chaz, I went to staff party, not Christmas party last
It was
night.
a staff Christmas party last night.
The staff Christmas party on January 14th.
Yeah, that's how they deal with it.
13th. So I get
random things were my area of expertise. Everyone else's. Oh wow. No, you guys cannot see this video, but it's
Where they get
everything you hear
electricity
are
from.
rabbis. Wow! 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 You guys can
Is that not
see
edited?
this.
Is that like that can't be real?
I like he's like licking on my balls, licking on my balls.
Wow.
So it's like, so that's how now I picture it.
Okay.
At first I
It
think-
was nothing like that. It was nothing
So
like
is the owners are Jewish, so they don't celebrate Christmas, so they have a staff party in January.
Yeah.
So I said I'm picturing it like the hell yeah fucking right video
Yeah.
with Drake and Lil Wayne, and it's basically his
Bar
bar
mitzvah.
mitzvah. Yeah. So now I picture it like this.
It was a regular staff.
So what did happen? What was
The whole thing was
Didn't you win a prize? Did you win a prize?
the whole thing was circus themed. So they
So
had,
you were literal about that. That's why I said that. I thought you were clapping.
I was surprised at that too, yeah.
It is circus themed. No, every year there's different.
Oh.
There's a sports theme. Like
There's some group chat.
solar space, whatever, like Star Trek
Yeah.
and stuff.
Group poop
They
chat.
do all those different
Yeah.
ones. So this year it was circus themed.
So there was we have a group chat. So when Cheza explained that, like he didn't explain it, he just kind of said it like
circus.
like
It's
he
like
was,
it's circus thing because we were all like, maybe we should do a shot club live from your staff party. Half joking, but he's like, yeah, it's circus theme, and we're like,
no, he said it's a circus theme, so you can dress like a clown,
oh yeah.
right? Because I think I asked it, so I clapped back.
I said, "You're gonna wear your clothes?" I said, "Whose clothes?" I said, "I want." But yeah, so that was the whole thing. So there were like big balloons, there were balloon shakers, freaking clowns, obviously. They had games outside. They had cotton candy. They had photo booths. They had desserts that were shaped into like circus things. And yeah, pretty much.
What,
it was
like
a
what circus
thing.
things?
I don't remember, man.
Circus things.
And the
Did
guy,
they have a contest where people were winning prizes, or?
So then there's a guy. I mean, he's the ringmaster. So as the ringmaster, he was the master of ceremony at the same time. So he's telling like he's doing the awards. We ate food. We had salmon. It was wicked. It was good. They had salmon, roast
Salmon.
beef, steak, and some other and chicken.
You're the
You
black
had
guy
to-
that
you-
needed to take something home with you.
No.
You eat the salmon?
Actually, the two white women beside me, they got the people in the back to bring them out containers so they can bring theirs. So had to be at our table though. But yeah, so pretty much what the story Mo was talking about. I went out to get a drink, and then two people from my table come running out. You want a prize? You want a prize? I was like, yo, what the hell? So the prizes they're giving out were like huge, like stuffed animals. So they had a unicorn, they had a lion, and they had a monkey. So when I walk up to
H&M.
Was he the coolest?
So when I did I get it?
Was he the coolest?
You should have been.
Was
He looked like him.
was he the
He
coolest
looked like him.
prize in the
Some part.
bunch?
So I look at the monkey and I look at the ringmaster guy and I'm like, because of all this H&M stuff, I'm not picking the monkey. He looked at me. He was like, I was like,
It's funny.
Somebody's uncomfortable. I'll take the lion. So I took the lion. But, you know,
Lion
I sound
The
like
Lion
my
of
brother.
Judah.
I like my brother. But exactly the Ross. One person got it, and it was like a Spanish lady doing the door, like doing that coat check. I brought the lion, and she was like, "Oh, the lion got the lion, right?" I was like, "You're the bird. Oh, you caught it." I said, "Oh, I see it." She's like, "Yeah, it's not." I was like, "That's you. That's you." Always a help.
It's funny. I was on the train. I was just coming off the train, and I saw a couple.
All right. I thought he was gonna come in with that.
Yeah. That's on the rotation.
I was on the train. I saw this couple. They had an H&M bag. The first thing I thought was, does it even matter to them, or is it just a thing of not noticing?
It's a very bad setup.
Oh, hello there,
Speaking
sir.
of noticing,
Hey!
Notice
Yeah.
as soon as he came in, he complained about something.
Yeah.
We know.
What up?
Hater Dave.
That's how it
Hey
is.
there, Dave.
That's what I got
Going on,
going on.
Hey there,
Yeah.
Dave.
White tiger, dragon,
Hey.
buffalo.
There we go.
White
Skippy.
Let's call him H&M.
Call him H&M. Don't do
That's-
that.
Straight from China.
Actually, H&M is.
Perfect timing.
Is it? Japan, actually.
Perfect timing. We're talking about H&M. And you said,
Oh, the teardown?
yeah, South Africa.
That's actually pretty funny too.
You missed
Ninja
it.
style. Ninja style.
You ruined our intro for you. It
What was the intro for me?
was gonna be and the coolest monkey in the jungle.
Oh, I definitely want to
And then I thought they would do this. Walk up.
The bluest monkey in the jungle.
Trying some stuff, trying some stuff.
I like when you like a color on color. So
Trying to think, you know?
you gotta get a hat to match.
Huh?
You have to get the hat to match.
You got the bubonic head plague.
But okay,
Hey, Chris.
so South Africa, they took some severe steps.
Yeah, they closed all their H&M stores.
I applaud what happened, but do you think that actually could happen if, you know, people were to riot anywhere else, like out here?
Maybe the southern states. Maybe like
Did you see what happened? The mom of the model kid came out and said, "You're alright, fucking make us some drama."
She said calm down, yeah.
She said, "Calm down."
She did say comment.
maybe like in
That was so.
I don't see it happening in like above the Mason-Dixon line up here. You may see some rowdy guys in Atlanta or something.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, do you think that's accomplishing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's still
The-
point.
The
Yeah.
reason why I say that is because when something like this happens, then people who want nothing to do with it are going to tell you how to protest. right?
Yeah.
Protest peacefully. What is
Protest
that?
is.
Protest silently. What's that?
Protest doesn't do nothing.
Until you really shake shit up, then.
Because at the end of the day,
But-
they've accomplished an effect to H&M's bottom line, where people up here who say they're going to protest and boycott H&M aren't accomplishing shit to H&M's bottom line. In South Africa, they've shut down temporarily. Don't care if it's for a week, for a month, whatever. All the stores for H&M in South Africa. That's accomplished something to the bottom line.
But what about the people that are going to say now something about to the effect of people?
This is what you do.
Yeah.
I can say the same
Go
thing
back.
to.
Say it.
I can say the same thing.
No,
to
but you know what I'm saying.
all,
Like,
I can say the same thing to all Caucasians
Hey!
who celebrate a sports team win or loss.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They do the same shit, win or lose. They tear shit up, win or lose. I've already said, I'll say it again. When the Raptors win a championship, I will be blowing up like 20 cars.
Wow.
Not because I want to, because I'm allowed.
You might not want to say that on.
Why not? I'm allowed. I'm allowed now.
They're gonna pull up on court.
So, look, the precisely 20 cars.
I said like.
He's like,
Are you
no, that wasn't me.
Huh?
Well,
I'm allowed.
let us pull up the footage.
I mean, your clothes are loud. Are you allowed?
Every other sports team victory in every other city tells me that I'm allowed to blow shit up
Well, it's funny
or push cars over.
in Montreal. Whenever they would lose, everyone would be sad and go home. When they win is when cars are getting turned over and fires are getting started.
Yeah. That's.
It doesn't make any
if you-
sense.
if even where was it? Was it in Vancouver? When they lost and they rioted and Stanley Cup. I'm not.
Vancouver.
There's Vancouver.
Vancouver,
Yeah,
yeah.
they lost and they
They
rioted.
lost and they rioted. Okay,
Yeah, it was
that
in
makes
Vancouver
sense.
at the-
It's
in Montreal, they
dumb.
win and they riot.
It's dumb. But
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
see, hockey got us distracted.
DJ by law. Next morning.
No, but like I can see them being upset and rioting. Being happy and rioting. That's just
But see, happy and riding, you know, it's like a mosh pit.
sorry about that.
It's like a mosh pit. You know, you're in a mosh pit. Everyone's rowdy. Everyone's punching. Everyone's doing whatever. There should be no reason why you like this song and you're punching someone in the head, right? It shouldn't get that way. But it happens.
punching people in the head
Really quick.
and I told you. Punching people
So-
in the
so-
head. Punching people in the head and watching is different than like turning cars over and setting them ablaze.
But again, that's usually a group of people who come in when they have that opportunity and start that shit.
Right.
It's not necessarily fans. They may join in because mob mentality takes over, but that's often a group of outside anarchists who come in.
They are terrorists.
Started
Is that a t-shirt?
I have to bring the motorcycle dance back on this one.
Tom Cruise. Oh, remember
On the
that?
couch. Dude on the couch.
Good.
Pause.
Good.
What am I doing?
Tom Cruise.
But yeah, if nobody knows what they were talking about, the big H&M controversy. That's the coolest monkey in the jungle. That's the coolest monkey in the jungle. Like.
Clumsiest
Well, yeah, so they put up a picture.
cracker in the box.
So yeah, they put up a
least I didn't
picture
keep the table.
of a young black
That-
kid
that's what I was
wearing
worried about.
Yeah.
a shirt saying "coolest monkey in the jungle."
If there is an upside to the whole thing, I
Not
like how
everything.
everybody responded to it, changing shit up with the memes,
Uh,
changing the narrative. That's really
putting the
cool.
crown on it. Yeah.
Yeah, all that. But there's another flip to it. I think you might have brought it up. I know somebody else brought it up. Parents, you gotta sign off. You gotta sign off for your kid to be on something like that, right?
That mother did respond. but-
She did respond.
What did she say?
She signed off. She's like,
She's cool with it.
She's
It's-
like,
it's- to her, it's
stop
different.
making such a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
He's modeled all kinds of clothes.
This is just one
It's
thing.
just one thing.
Right. Now,
But if you sell your soul, you sell your soul, right?
personal preference.
She's
is
from-
racial.
she's from-
So
where's
she's
she
from
from?
Kenya, but she lives in
Kenya.
Sweden.
Okay.
Right?
But
Lives in
there is still racism.
Of course.
I
but-
truly like looked it up just to see if there
There
was
is
something
truly
like
racism.
that
in
she
Sweden.
doesn't really know. Or to me, I'm like maybe because she doesn't understand the American.
I think
racism.
that's part of it. I
Because
think
there's a
she
lot.
doesn't really get.
Over there they don't get it because they're not in it like we are.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like maybe there's that.
I
But
think
at the
this is
same time, I
American
looked it up.
racism that it's like.
Sweden is that way because if
Monkey.
you look at the soccer teams when they play against Mario Balotelli or something like that.
Yes.
They
When
throw
he
bananas.
plays,
Bananas.
They throw bananas on the thing, yeah.
Okay.
And so monkey is a thing that they use
Okay,
against
so
black
it's-
people
so it's
in
in
Europe as well.
Yeah.
That's actually more relevant than actual nigger out there. They are they
Hard R.
that's
Hard
like-
R.
their monkey is
This is where you come with "Don't call me."
Don't call me monkey. Don't call me
I have to
monkey.
remix it.
Don't call me monkey in the coolest monkey in the jungle.
Sorry, I just realized you got a red set. Everybody got to do this
It's a
today.
401G.
No, I'm a
401G,
yeah.
That's why I asked him. I was like, "Since when do you have 401G?"
I actually wanted to get the what was it?
I like the
no,
red. The red.
chocolate versus everybody in red. Merch coming soon, people.
Chocolate versus everybody in the shows.
Merch coming in March.
Merch
Merch
madness.
Merch madness.
Merch madness.
We're gonna do that.
We're gonna do that. We
Merch
just wanted-
madness.
Do we have a guest coming through?
We should have. We might have a pop up
yeah.
shop
You
at.
might as well bring it in.
He doesn't know.
Is
But,
he here yet?
Like 5 minutes left.
yeah, we might have a pop up shop
You
at
need to save some liquor.
at Matchbox.
Oh, that's what it is.
There's someone who owns Matchbox Tattoo, right?
Yeah. Actually, we
Yeah,
I've
we might have.
I've heard of that.
I've heard of that place. Matchbox
Where are they
Tattoo.
located?
I think 707 Dundas
Yes,
West.
there we go. Someone done this first.
Unit 5, Toronto/Canada's first shipping container tattoo studio. We actually discussed this 10 minutes ago.
I said 707. I was like, oh, too
I
off.
know.
So that's 705.
Elmo, your friend is here.
So send him
Mom's so aggressive.
Okay.
in! Hey there, guys! Hey! How you guys doing, man? Happy New Year, right?
No, you're going.
Special
So you guys get serious in here. You guys are talking about like real shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happened.
Damn. What were you expecting?
I don't know what I was expecting, but
This is early.
okay.
The liquor hasn't done
That's
what
what
it
it
does.
Yeah,
So it's there. Speaking of
it's
liquor,
good to get. Sure, it's good. You know, it's good to get serious with alcohol because that's when the crying and the
Hey,
honesty comes out.
Hey, Mom.
You know,
Can you get one more
Get a
glass,
glass?
actually?
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
One more?
The crying.
A little bit of heavy petting.
No heavy
You
petting.
there.
This
Yeah.
way. Heavy petting that
That's
way.
you.
No, I haven't
Yeah,
touched that, so
yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
I haven't touched that yet. He's
Okay,
bringing another
I
glass.
got beer too.
Yeah, you can bring that up. You can
You
bring
are the one with the late.
I'm not doing the
night.
dishes tonight.
We're doing
Yes,
it all.
you
We're
are.
mixing-
We're mixing
Okay, I
it.
like wine. Well, thanks for
Who's doing the
having
what?
me.
Who's doing the dishes then? If Mom's not doing the dishes, who's doing the dishes?
everybody does the dishes at some point.
I think our guest should do the
Mo will
dishes.
do
That's
dishes.
that is
Jesus.
just fine.
You try to-
This is fine.
Why am I?
Wow.
Am I the dish monkey now?
Okay.
Would you like to introduce our guest?
All right, here we got Mr.
The camera's right here.
Hold on.
Over
Oh, yeah.
here. The camera's over there. I gotta let them know.
Okay. So we have Mr. Fresh Kils.
Name goes. Go ahead.
Yeah. You got to all the accolades,
Fresh Kils, Mr.
all the.
Why don't you tell us something? Why don't you just tell me?
Okay. This is Toronto producer.
This is so bad.
Battling.
Yeah.
Fresh Kils.
It's me.
Hold on.
Hold on.
One more.
Wait,
Just
keep
one
going,
more.
keep going.
Yeah,
The man that really made the prices right theme funky. Mr. Fresh
Oh,
Kils.
that's me.
Yes.
I was like, is DiBiase in the middle? Is DiBiase where he's actually
DiBiase Kils. We don't have DiBiase here. We got
me.
Kils.
I'm here.
How you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm great. Bringing me. You guys know how to have a show. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Welcome
way-
to the shot
I
club,
don't drink.
no sons of bitches.
Yeah, well, this
This
is
is
one
this
time.
is the way shows should go, man. I like this.
How's the new year been so far?
Oh, a lot of napping, a lot of eating. I'm working on my like winter dad bod. Yeah,
Napping's great.
Dodd
you
Bob.
know, my dad bod. Yeah.
Nobody talks about working on that.
Working on the bod?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work.
You gotta do the dad bod
Yeah,
thing.
It's a balance.
You gotta
right?
commit to it.
You can't go too far,
Yeah.
but you can't go too much to it. It's that balance right there.
And you gotta remain proud throughout, like regardless of the outcomes. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? With my translucent boy chest coming up, like straight, I'm gonna do it with pride. Well, you are.
Yeah, that's a father, right?
No,
Did you not bring your
not
one?
that I
Did you not
know.
bring your
Oh,
offspring here?
sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. This is a bit of a setup over here.
Oh, we'll get to the challenge.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The challenge. It's been
Yeah,
so
dad
yeah. What's been happening? What's happening these days? What do you got?
For me right now is I'm working on my first solo record. I've never really done one. You collab with people, and so trying to make a solo record where I'm the focus of it is just it's a weird thing to do. It's for me. So I've just been just working on sounds and building my record and hanging with the fam. And I was on the road a lot this year, so
Yeah.
I was really last year. So I was just trying to like relax and get back. The winter's always like that for me. I don't know what it's like for you guys, but I feel like people hibernate and you go back to your family, you go back to your kind of roots and stuff, and you relax and
We're really good.
and try to get grounded.
We're really bears.
Yeah.
Coolest bears.
Shot Cubs.
Coolest cubs.
Shot Cubs.
Coolest cubs in the cave.
I'm
You were here for the Shot Cubs.
I'm smarter than the average shot club.
But I find it funny when Shot Cubs.
Hey! What's that time again? You know what I'm talking about?
It's that time again.
Slow
You
it down.
know what I'm talking about. Go me.
Here we go.
What do is it?
Oh yeah.
That's them. You know I don't do it.
Here we go.
Double tap. That's yummy.
Yeah, my dad just came back from that.
Well done.
You notice how it's
Half, yeah.
yeah, he was well done.
But, I find it funny that you feel different about being center of attention, but you've always
You're
been
such a
performer.
cocky prick.
It's true.
I'm gonna go there.
Being on stage,
it's kinda
you're
true.
MC, so
But-
you know, you guys know.
Yeah, but as a
You do that
producer,
thing.
and a performer, because I've seen you perform, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
usually at the forefront. You do a
Yeah.
lot of collaborations and stuff, but you
Yeah.
are there on stage by yourself. So
Right.
What feels different this time?
I mean, it was always like the stage is always the medium is the message, right? So the stage is one thing, and there's certain things work on stage, don't work in the studio. Certain things work on radio that don't work on stage or whatever. So the stage thing was always me trying to do the stage thing, high impact and funny and engaging and all that stuff. But that stuff doesn't really work on record all the time. Like I'm not doing an Adam Sandler record. I'm not doing a Weird Al record.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out like what that sounds like, because that's what happens so often is people meet me after I come to a show and then they ask me to send them beats or something, and I end up sending them like a bunch of like really like emotive and introspective, like kind of like smoker type shit, and they're like, well, where's this hype? Like this isn't. So I gotta figure out a way. That's the challenge. Try to figure out a way to bridge it. Because you're different on stage, right?
Your live
different on
show
stage.
is very live. And
Yeah.
it's exciting and interactive.
But I'm a total wreck.
Yeah. That's not where I was going with it, but
That's exactly where you're going with it.
But I mean, your style and your beats are very
High energy, right? Yeah.
You definitely seem comfortable on stage.
Sure.
What's your favorite part about you?
I mean, it's just the crowd. I mean, it's like we do Instagram because we want likes. We do, if I'm being honest, and I asked this question. I had a big conversation with someone. What are you in music for? What is it about? Why do you do it?
Right.
And everyone had different answers, and it's interesting when you ask people those questions because a lot of the time they avoid the real answer, which is that at least I feel like I want recognition. I wanted recognition.
well. If nobody's in the crowd, then
But as an engineer and producer, you don't get recognition a lot of the time. That game is very, very unsung.
Right.
And so that's sort of why I ended up on stage, because I'm not to say that I wasn't getting my due or I wasn't getting love or getting paid properly or respected or anything like that. It's just that I wanted to be in control of that stuff, and I kind of wanted my moment. I was like, yo, I'm good at this shit. I want to rock it. I want to be on stage. I want to rep it. I want to represent it as opposed to, like giving a beat to this guy, and God knows what happens to it after that.
That's true.
You don't want to.
That's funny. That's funny because you say
He
on
goes through
stage.
so many ups and downs. You give to him.
I don't know.
It's like, it's like postpartum.
Says one of the guys who didn't show up
It's like
for the studio
postpartum
session last night.
depression.
Hold on.
It's like postpartum.
Hold on.
He already talked.
You can't be the first one to jump in with
He
that.
already-
and you were right here.
He already talked about napping.
Kind of
Okay?
thought. and
He
then like,
already spoke about napping. I took a nap yesterday, never woke up. Okay?
Yeah, but you can't be the first one to
Well, I don't
jump
think
in on
not.
that.
Nap Master good.
But yeah, I was gonna say,
Dope session,
it's
by
funny
the way.
how you're saying on stage
My man.
you wanted that recognition.
Yeah.
But now when it's time to do your solo album, you're
Oh
like,
God.
oh
Yeah.
shit.
But see,
Yeah.
it's
It's nerve wracking.
because he has
Way
to come
more
from
nerve wracking.
he has to come from a position of which side of Fresh Kils does he show?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Is it
Yeah.
gonna
Right.
be instrumental? Is it gonna be like a DJ set? Is it
There's gonna be a lot of instrumental stuff. There's a few songs. So there's a roots reggae
Some
track
rappers
with
on
like
it, or-
Uzi from the Troopers.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to represent the
Little
Caribbean
Uzi?
stuff
No,
because
no.
I'm from Toronto and the Caribbean is never. It's got one of the biggest Caribbean communities in the world, and Caravana happens here, and Toronto never gets that kind of love really or respect at that level.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that I represented that because I grew up listening to reggae and listening to Caribbean music. Even though I'm like translucent boy chest, I got that.
Is translucent your like go-to?
I've
word?
said it too many times now. No, some comedian said it on a thing about like going to the beach in the New Year and like in the spring, and I just took it because I just thought it was so funny.
I love it.
Because like it's yeah, you know, I don't do the tan stuff. You don't tan, do you? Do you tan salon stuff? No, you're alright.
I don't know.
He's got tattoos.
I can tan. I get color.
Yeah, I can't really tan. No.
I can't.
Okay.
I just want to put it out there.
But the
You want to be a part of the
record's all over-
conversation?
Yeah.
The record's all over the place. There's some rap. There's some reggae stuff. There's some
Do you
pop
have
stuff.
some artists on it?
Yeah, I've got Fashawn is on it
Okay.
from LA,
Cali.
from Massachusetts. Yeah. Roshan's on it. My buddy Boozy from Chupas is on there.
yeah.
He's
Uzi's dope.
so dope.
When I-
He's dope.
When I first heard you, it was because of King Just,
Yeah,
and he introduced me to the Troopers joint that you did with them
yeah.
way back.
Those guys are really, really talented
Yeah.
guys too. Toronto lore, Toronto hip hop lore. I love that stuff too. Like we should do that. I don't know if we want to talk what you got agenda, but I love just talking about that random, like crazy old school Toronto underground shit, like underground rap.
Get into
Dude,
it.
this is
I
like-
love that
This
shit.
is
I know
a
what
lot
you're
of
talking
what our
about.
shows consist of.
We're
like-
in a basement. Mom's over there.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we've had we've had Maestro, we've had Daniel, we've
Yeah,
had Chocolate,
of course.
we've had a lot of these. So
Of course.
a lot of our conversation ends up
Yeah.
being in that.
Yeah.
But I just love that. The more obscure, the better. Like I always have, for example, I always have a love for those. Like every town, every small town in North America, they'll have that one guy that like he's been a DJ for 20 years and he's never blown up. He's never, you know, he's got his job, he's got his kids. He DJs every weekend, and his record collection is crazy. And he knows every generation of hip hop coming out of that town. And those guys their love is pure because they didn't blow up and they never tried to do it for the wrong reasons. They were always just carrying the flag and doing it. And I always love trying to find those people in those towns.
Yeah.
You know, because those guys. Not only can you
It's
learn a
probably
lot
the
from
DJ
them,
that's doing your show.
it's a lot of the time it's the DJ. A lot of the time, it's not always. But every town has those guys, and we talk about them in Toronto. Toronto's a bigger city, so there's been those people, and we recognize them. But the small towns, not so much.
Yeah.
You know, so I love those guys. Like my buddy in London, Ontario, Matt Labatt. He knows Matt Labatt because he knew how to sneak into the Labatt Brewery. So every time we did a show there, he'd be like, "Where's the after party? I'll show up with 3-2-4s. I'll meet you there in the 3-2-4s." And he never told anyone else how to do it, right? Because of course then you blow up the spot and then you don't get it. But every single time we played London, he would show up with 2-2-4s, and that's how he got the name Matt Labatt.
Gangster.
We might need that.
He's the dude, and he's been digging Goodwill Records. He shows up at Goodwill every Thursday for 12 years. This cat.
Wow.
So
Okay.
when the new shit came out onto the floor, So he has one of the best record collections I have ever seen, and he's never paid more than $1 for a record.
Right.
And he's just like this London legend, but like London, Ontario, like no one's gonna.
He's like the,
You know?
what's that we're talking about? The couponing.
Oh,
He's like
yeah.
the
Extreme
couponing for
couponing.
Disney.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Extreme
Just
coupon
really
right
good.
there.
Yeah, but I love that. So like, I want to hear those stories. Like that to me would just be like a really compelling.
What's your favorite
Definitely.
place to go as far as performing? What's the one place as soon as you have dates lined up, you're like, I can't wait.
Yeah, is there not a place where you're just like, yes. Always the times there.
St. Louis. I always love St. Louis.
Oh, good old St.
I have really good people in St. Louis. It always, you know, it always comes down to where you have good people that are like doing really well, so that when you go there, there's like you're kind of taken care of.
Yeah.
You know.
No, okay.
So my homies in St. Louis, like DJ Moff, Steady P used to live there. DJ Moff's like the scratch basket of that region. So Moff is the homie, and they kill it. Every time we go there. My buddy Far Out is from there. And they just kind of own that region. They tour a lot. Every time we go there, it is like a blast. My buddy J Bomb, like I never forget. J Bomb moved. I was like, he moved to Chicago, and I was like, oh man, we're not gonna see him. We're gonna see him in St. Louis. It's him in Chicago, not in St. Louis. We do the show in Chicago, and I don't really know a lot of people in Chicago, so I didn't know what the show was gonna be like. J Bomb shows up with like a gang of just beautiful, beautiful girls out of nowhere.
He's trying to get back to that picture.
And they all love translucent boys.
J-Bomb.
DJ by long.
Yeah.
Makes me hungry.
I love Oakland. I love the Bay Area a lot.
Okay.
It's really, really dope.
Is St. Louis? I heard St. Louis is a pizza city.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best?
You said Max Live.
I used to always
What's
say
the
that.
food best food place in the States that you've been to?
The best food place.
Food.
I was on the road with Billy Woods out of New York.
Well, he went to St. Louis, so King Random kind of goes there.
I like saying St. Louis because no one likes St. Louis. People shit on St. Louis.
The food there.
Nelly doesn't
People
like
shit
St.
on
Louis.
St. Louis, and that pisses me off because I love St.
Depends
Louis.
what
I have
part
a
of
good
St.
time
Louis, I
there.
guess.
The best food
All of it.
spot.
It's like this.
I mean, once I get west of Reno, it's like I'm looking for In-N-Out.
But do you know food spots in
But
St.
that's
Louis?
not what you're
I
looking
watch too much on
Okay.
So, yeah. One of the reasons why I will be going to Chicago sometime this year or next. We might have to do that.
Yeah.
Is Czech Republic further east than
So,
Czech Republic east than Hungary or
It sounds hard to me.
Czech Republic.
As you
further
stunt on
than
us.
No,
As you stunt
no.
on us. Go ahead.
Hungary's
First I've
further-
been in Czech Republic. We did this. Me and my buddy Premrock from New York. He's my tour fucking brother, and we put out a record last year. And we went and did the show in Kadaň, and I don't know where Kadaň is. I couldn't tell you. It's into the Czech Republic. We flew into Prague. We got on a bus, and it was one of those shows where I have no fucking idea how they know who we are or care, but they were chanting our names before we went on. The place was rammed, and we went out there, and it was insane. And it was a show where the crowd enveloped Prem, like, because Prem's MC, I'm behind the NPC,
Right.
and they just like. He's swallowed by the crowd. And it's, you're excited, you're rocking, it's great. And then all of a sudden your dude is gone. And you're like,
Where'd you go?
Where's my dude?
like, and okay, it's fans, but like the Czech Republic is
die?
great, man. The Czech Republic is mad braggy. The Czech Republic is a poor country, right? Like you don't go there to make money. Like we don't go there and like get major guarantees and sell tons of merch.
Right.
Like selling a t-shirt. I mean, some of those, I don't know what minimum wage is there, but like $25 American for a shirt, like nobody in the Czech Republic. So it's just not about money when you go there. It's like you do it, and we have homies there, and they host us, and we do really good. But so the crowd, but you lose your MC, and you're like, I don't know if he's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
What's going on? And there's that moment, and Kadaň was one of the craziest shows that I've ever done in my life. And we're in the middle of nowhere, and I'll never forget, because the promoter was like, there was no food, and the backstage was a hot box of cigarettes. There was cigarettes, you could smoke everywhere. You couldn't breathe, you couldn't eat, you just drink. And they're like, well, we can't even get out of here until 6 a.m.
Wow.
But we're like,
Whoa.
me and Premac are like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? And they're like, don't even worry. And they start passing out moon rocks. They're like, don't worry, man, we'll just party until the bus comes.
Yeah.
And we're just like, what? Oh my God. So we're like, we gotta party till, I gotta dance my ass off till 6 a.m.
Wow.
and keep performing.
Luckily,
What time-
yeah.
I'm a hell of a dancer.
What time of the year was this?
October. It was
Okay.
2 Octobers ago.
And
It was November. 19 never ever.
And you said they started cheering your name
Before we went on. Yeah.
before you went on.
Yeah.
So you're backstage and you hear your name being chanted.
Yeah.
Are you nervous? Are you ready to go? Is it a boost of adrenaline? Is it?
We were
is
excited.
everything-
We were really excited.
So you're
Rock and I are super tight too, so there's no, like, we're like Voltron on stage. Our set is
Right.
really integrated.
Rock's an artist from there, or?
He's from New York.
Okay.
He's originally from Philly, and he's a really talented MC from New York. But our set is like super Voltron, and we're so practiced, like, so there's never any worry about the show like that. We were really, really excited, but it was weird because we'd never been there.
right.
So why are they?
Sharing your name.
Did someone tell them to do
That
it?
sounds like a really good promoter.
That sounds like
It was.
If it wasn't an organic
Yeah.
buzz out there, that sounds like a good promoter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
But-
It was amazing.
But it's also crazy out there because they know hip hop out there.
yeah, they
I
did.
haven't been to
It's
Czech. I unfortunately got swallowed by Berlin and didn't make it to Czech.
true.
But
But you've been to Poland, and you've been to some
Yeah.
weirder,
yeah,
like
Stone on
more left, not left. I should say left, not left wing, but like
random
way
as
out
fuck
there.
out
Yeah,
there,
like random shit.
like Strasbourg,
Stone on the boat.
France. I was like,
Stone on
people are like, oh, blah blah blah, Perry. I'm like, I've been to France, Strasbourg. It's like right on the border.
Yeah.
So it's French and German as well, and just like was a super basement show.
Yeah.
And there was like a lot of those shows on.
Did you do the basement of a bar?
Yeah.
It was 2 floors, right?
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah,
I know the one.
Yeah.
I played it.
yeah.
I know the one.
Yeah.
It's called.
It's the only one.
It has like a
It's the
really
only
offensive
one.
name. It's called.
It has a really offensive.
It's called like the Black Pussy Cat, but it's in French.
Yeah.
So it's like it's way
Oh,
worse.
I need to go find this black pussy
Black Pussy
cat.
Cat, baby.
Black Pussy Cat.
It's deep and dark.
It's deep and dark.
Oh my God.
Better be a black cat.
I played Halloween there, opening for Mr. Lip and Larange. That was
That would've
fucking
been crazy,
wild.
yeah.
It was crazy. But it's a small venue. It's a small
Yeah,
place,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it gets even crazier. I really like.
It's
the small
honestly,
venues, man.
it's surprising
I prefer the small venues.
how great it does because it's a small town. It's a
Yeah.
small venue,
Yeah,
and like, but it gets
yeah, because it kills.
gets packed.
It kills.
But also, I was in on an it's pretty fresh.
It's
fresh. But I was in Germany on the night off, and I remember we went to the club. Oh, I don't know, like
Mhm.
might be missing things. We get there and it's dead. We're like, what the fuck? They're like, no, it hasn't started yet.
Has it started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that 6 o'clock shit that's everywhere.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
in that region, like
That's crazy because like I can't remember which magazine I was reading, but it had to be somewhere either in Louisiana or Atlanta. One of the big artists, late 90s. But it's just the southern states, and they start really late. So you could be clubbing Saturday, technically Sunday morning, and people are still trying to get in the club at like 5.
Yeah.
That's
and you're,
weird.
and you're leaving to go for
Right,
chicken
right,
and
right.
waffles
Yeah.
because you're in Atlanta.
We're so used to finishing what we do at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go get something
Yeah.
to eat.
I don't know about that. Like,
They're
even-
party. Yeah.
I no, because outside of hanging with you guys, I go to after hours all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
I
there's
mean,
after hours in
New
the
York
West.
is New York
right?
is 4 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
But
So-
even being in Montreal for so many years, and it was 3 o'clock, I came here and I was like,
Yeah.
that hour, I was like, really?
It
We're
sucks.
done?
Yeah.
By the way, Montreal, we probably will be.
We will definitely.
I'd rather leave a party because I wanted to than.
You're being forced to.
Yeah,
Like,
sure,
Yeah, yeah.
It's a better feeling, like, okay.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
Already
I had
go.
enough. Yeah,
Still
I had
going,
mine.
you know?
Yeah.
My time.
Then everybody go, because most times by the time they say it's time to go, you're like, okay, is there not
Sorry.
party? Is there somewhere to
Yeah,
go?
exactly,
Somewhere
yeah.
else to go? And you're,
The after hours is
You know what?
crazy, but a lot of them are just the security is so lacking.
yeah.
You know that song?
Also,
Let Out?
also an after party here is like.
Why
can be
Jadena?
Jadena.
Yeah, Jadena.
Like, not necessarily the
Let Out.
Yeah.
Sunreal bit the shit out of that, by the way.
Which
That Jadena record, it's called The Let Out, and the whole thing is they're at home with mom, like eating food all night, and they just go for when the clubs close.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can catch all the women coming out late, like tipsy, and just like everybody's hanging out, and
It's just scoop them up.
yeah, you go
Pretty
for
much.
the let out. Yeah, like you basically you don't go out
That
Friday.
sounds like.
You save your money.
In today's
Yeah.
climate.
I didn't say,
Yeah,
I
pretty
didn't
much.
say that right.
Yeah.
No, but that's-
Is that right way to
No,
say
it's a
that?
thing.
No,
Yeah,
but like
like,
that's like
Just-
let me not
Yeah.
spend my money and
Yeah.
let me go and pick up the girl who I would have probably picked up in the club anyways if I did spend my money.
Yeah.
We're just saying
Yeah.
in the state of
Well,
things
Trump
now,
gets spats
you
with
can't
the-
you can't say that you're going out to do that shit. You know?
Yeah. What do you feel about sensitivity?
No, but going for
Just
the
like
Regarding what, though?
Insulting.
Regarding what? Because I feel like I
Welcome
have
to the shop
controversial
club.
opinions.
Yeah.
Use sounds equipped.
It's like
Is it too sensitive? Are we?
just according to anything, like the whole you can't even speak. Well, I just watched the Dave Chappelle special, the first one.
I was just
And
gonna bring that
he
up.
was talking about the transgender. He made a joke about
That was-
transgender.
That was
and
great though.
He's like,
I love
they
the
come
way
at him, but he's like, I love you guys, but it's jokes. You know what I mean? And to think about it, like you said, comedians are gonna come to a point where they can't even make a joke about anything without apologizing
Just-
before
You
or
know what?
after.
Just look at the whole Genuine issue.
I didn't catch that. What was
So
that?
Genuine
the ponies got really upset. They were like, that song has been around forever.
and no, but
That's good.
apparently
That's
he
really
meets
good.
somebody, right?
I thought
Doesn't
it
know.
No, it's a reality TV
It's a reality
show.
TV show.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
on this TV show,
Mom, what happened to your
the
voice?
girl who was sitting beside him while they're having this conversation is a transgender woman,
Yeah.
so used to be a man.
Right.
So they asked him, would you date a transgender woman? He's like, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I know she's transgender, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Well,
And
then
she
there's
was
nothing
like,
wrong with saying that.
there's nothing wrong with saying that,
But
but
they
then
got on.
she was like, well, what if I just come and say I'm a woman? He's like, well, then I would type thing.
Yeah.
But she's like, if I told you transgender though, he's like, no, I wouldn't. She was like, well, that's messed up, like, or whatever. And then she tries to kiss him. And he was like, nah, don't kiss me.
This is on TV.
Yeah.
And because of that reaction,
Yeah.
they're calling him
Homophobic,
transphobic, homophobic, and all that stuff.
Because you won't kiss sexual assault.
Well, how the joke
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
in today's thing, like with the whole Harvey Weinstein and all that stuff,
Yeah.
the whole
No,
issue is pushing someone to do
That's-
something
yeah.
they don't want to do.
That should be. She's the aggressor.
Exactly. No, she's the victim in the story.
You know what?
Apparently she was
It's
like,
interesting. The lines are all over
Right,
the place
right, right,
because, like, do you remember when Danny Brown got a blowjob on stage?
Oh,
and Girl Trip?
exactly.
And that was an interesting moment because I remember seeing Danny Brown at South by Southwest before he blew up, and he was on the top floor of the main convention building, and he was in a suit doing rape raps, like hardcore rape rap shit, and a lot of his, he has a lot of pretty tough lines, about women, about
It's shock. Right?
and in no way is he inviting. In no way is that fair to say he's inviting violence on himself or sexual harassment on himself. But it was an interesting moment because backstage, there was a story about backstage. There was a girl who was working for him, and he was very distraught after what had happened at that show. And he was very, he had a moment
about what?
because he basically was sexually assaulted on stage in front of people.
Did he not whip it out? She whipped it out.
She whipped it out.
Wait. How did she pull it out?
Yeah. You don't.
Well,
Come on, you have
He's
pants. You have pants.
Well,
You have a belt.
Unless he wasn't.
See,
wearing
that's
pants.
also at the time in the same way. You're telling how did she pull it out?
Oh,
Wait, you're saying
are
he
you
was
gonna blame a
distraught,
woman for
really,
how she's
actually,
dressing?
over
It's the same thing.
well,
yeah, but how did she
when that happened, it was a traumatizing moment, and there was a soul searching moment backstage because it was like, what did I do to? First of all, what did I do
to
invite?
deserve this?
Well, to invite this,
Yeah.
and then how do I stop it? Because like part of the problem is,
I was
and
rapping about
again, you
raping
can
women,
call.
and the women came up and grabbed me.
Here's an interesting one because women get this shit all the time, and it kind of sucks because here's a guy, and you're gonna be like, well, why would he let a woman do this to him on stage if he didn't like it, right?
No. What I was saying was,
How
did she do it?
Yeah. Okay.
I
Right.
have,
you wanna know how- you wanna know
I have a
like
pair of pants. Hold on. I
Yeah.
have a pair of pants. Okay.
Yeah.
To get to the pair of pants, you would have to go right by my belt. It's pretty tight. I've put on some weight.
But the question, right?
You still have to get to my belt. You still have to get to my zipper. So pull down the zipper.
Maybe he's
But I
wearing
mean,
sweatpants.
you're in a shitty position as an artist on stage doing it, and the crowd's cheering, right? And you're trying to
not allow
thing.
this to go on for a while.
He did.
He did allow it to
He
go
did.
on.
Danny
But
Brown-
I would argue that he was but that he felt probably pressured by the crowd.
Yeah.
I feel like, and the thing is, I know you're and I have the same problem
I'm gonna say.
because
I'm gonna say.
the thing about it is Aziz Ansari recently came out and people are like, well, why did she go down on him the second time? Like, why is she saying this? She goes down on him at some point during this thing, and everybody's like, why would you do that if you were uncomfortable? And the difficulty is that, it's not all I'm saying is because I don't know. I just think the situation ends up being a lot more complicated than we all think.
Absolutely.
Because in that situation for him, he's feeling pressured by the crowd, he's putting himself on stage. He's a different thing.
No, agreed.
Right?
I think he's like,
the crowd wants
I
it.
can't push this girl away.
Even like,
and he's probably
you look
thinking,
at
I'm about to
society
get a
now
blowjob on
as a
stage.
He probably
It's gonna be
is.
as a
good.
man
Yeah, or
itself,
he's not
too.
thinking, or who knows? I
as a
mean,
man itself too, you should be like, yeah, do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You shouldn't push a girl off type thing. You should be accepting that.
I
like,
mean,
yeah.
but
So
here's
the
the
same things like
feeling
you know,
it.
like
yeah, it's
there's so many
complicated
different
though, right?
things.
It's really complicated.
Here's
That's
what
all I'm saying, because I don't know what to think. And answer your question about sensitivity, it's so hard because what are we being sensitive about? I don't know. Someone that's been sexually assaulted is going to be more sensitive.
Right.
Someone that is like, there's a Dave Chappelle once. I'm sorry.
No. Cut him off.
Dave Chappelle does this. I remember Dave Chappelle did the stand-up years ago, and he has a whole thing about the homeless guy on a bus holding up a bus with his dick, right?
Yeah.
Hilarious. The joke after that is all about him meeting a native dude, and like he's like he's not sure if the guy's native, so he decides to litter to make sure that he's native. So he litters, and the guy sheds a tear, and he's like, "Oh shit, you really are Native American." That shit is fucked up, kind of. It's funny,
It is.
but it's fucked up. And so sensitivity is what? I mean, I don't remember that joke, but I damn well laughed at it when I saw it. But it's weird, like I'm more sensitive to that now.
He's playing on that because he knows, like he's putting truth into all this stuff,
Right?
No,
And
but
fair.
That's a little
Comedy's
smarter.
different.
That's a little smarter than
That's
Danny
smarter.
Brown.
That's a
Yeah,
smarter.
of course.
What Danny
Yeah,
Brown's
finish it,
doing
yeah.
on stage is he's saying, "Oh well, they're gonna think I'm less than a man if I don't let this go." Me personally, we're all performers.
Yeah.
If I'm on stage, I'm thinking about what happens next, and if I have an audience, I'm making sure that they don't know what's gonna happen next and keep them guessing. So no, she's not gonna do that to me on stage. What happens later on tonight? This is where we're gonna be later on tonight. I'm playing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm playing it because
Right.
it's a mind fuck. She's doing a literal thing. Me as a performer, she's not gonna get the best of me on
We
stage.
don't know if he froze.
Okay.
We don't
Listen,
know.
He did.
Do you
Listen,
expect a girl
Linda.
to grab you on stage and suck your dick?
Linda.
No.
Linda.
Oh, no.
No.
If you
So
get on
You
my
just
stage,
said when
hold
you're
on.
on stage.
Hold on.
But it's not even that.
I
She
gotta
didn't get on stage.
I gotta get this.
He ran up.
We should-
He came to the front of the stage like this, and she went and did it.
Yeah.
But where?
So he was saying like
where was
this.
He's probably wearing
And in his
sweatpants.
mind, he's like, I should
But
just
that's
keep
what I'm
rapping.
saying.
So
He's
he just
wearing
kept rapping
sweatpants.
Yeah.
while it happened.
No.
Yeah.
If access is access,
Hold on.
she got access.
She zipped it down and pulled it out.
Bro,
And
No,
all in his
man.
mind, he said, all in his
I'm
mind.
listen,
fine.
if you're
I'm
gonna-
not
we should
fine.
get
Keep
Okay,
rapping.
let's-
So
let's-
because
There's a process that goes into
let's figure this
pulling
out. Let's
somebody's
figure this out.
pants
Because
down.
I've never
with that.
seen this situation. I've never heard about this situation. I don't know who this Danny Brown guy is. Right? I really don't care. Give me
He
two
looks-
shits about
You
who
know
he
what
is.
he looks like?
Who?
Cletus from
Don't care.
Simpsons.
If he runs up,
He looks like
listen,
Cletus from
if he
Simpsons.
runs up to the front of the stage, right? If there's a crowd at the front of the stage and the crowd is reaching for him, and a bunch of people are reaching out for you when you're at the front of the stage, and while you're at the front of the stage rapping, you've noticed all of a sudden your dick is wet because someone now has your dick in their mouth.
Wow.
You weren't paying attention to all the people grabbing at you.
No, I'm not.
Listen,
But
listen,
it could be
okay.
that.
Let me say. You just talked about how you're thinking about what's next, but when I'm on stage, I'm not thinking
I
about
don't
nothing.
That's
know.
different.
Yeah.
I'm going. I'm in the moment. I'm not thinking about
Yeah,
anything.
but you can also like do like 10 shots and then go and perform. You're a different animal.
Well, what
Come
I'm
on.
saying is you're not when you're
Yeah.
when you're not thinking, not necessarily
You're like, oh, I thought
in
all
the
about it.
moment, things are happening. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
I'm joking
We don't
like
know
shit.
it.
Like,
She's the only person that was grabbing on him. For all he knows, he just felt hands grabbing him. He thought it was fans. He was clapping.
And then all of a sudden,
we're down. And like he said, in his mind, he was just like, just keep rapping. So that's all he did was keep rapping. So it wasn't like he was like, oh, he wasn't enjoying it or anything. He was just like, let me just keep rapping. And so he kept going. And once he got to the end of his thing, he pushed off.
On that note, Shop Club will be going on tour around April and May. Follow us on IG at Shop Club Podcast.
So anytime you see
dates out,
anytime you see Trace at the front of the stage,
we're gonna be releasing our new line of sweatpants. Easy access.
Great sweatpants.
But here's the thing about the whole Genuine situation. You can't tell me, right, that because I say I'm attracted to women and I wouldn't date a transgender woman, that I'm wrong, right? You can't tell me that if you lie to me now and say you're just a woman, you don't tell me the truth about your past, right? That I'm wrong for getting upset about it in the future, right? And you can't force me to do something I don't want to do. Whether you're transgendered or a woman or
transparent transgenders.
You should, if I can't be truthful about my opinion and my what I like as an individual, what am I here for?
Here's what I'll say to that.
Well, and like you said though too, about like she was the aggressor.
Yeah.
And we're getting mad at everyone else for being super aggressive.
Being acceptive of what everybody is, who everybody is. At the same time, you have to tell me who you are before I get into whatever you think is going to happen here. Because I have to have some sort of consent.
You have to have consent.
I have to know who you are before.
No, I need to have consent. And this, if you want to be able to have the right to change who you are as a person,
that's cool,
right? I need to have 100% control of who I decide to date as a person.
Yeah.
And this is where a menstrual cycle is the 100% honest way of knowing who the fuck you are.
Who you date and who you make out with are two different things. Number one. Number two, a lot of people would tend to think that, okay, is anyone qualified to have an opinion on things they don't understand? And maybe, so the inherent, I don't necessarily believe this, but the inherent under. Hey! Forget, I didn't want to explain that anyway. I mean, if you have agreed with a transgender woman, how do you know you don't want to be with her?
The same way I don't want to buy a rubber vagina.
What's going on with that shot, mister? What's going on with that shot?
The same way I didn't go buy a rubber vagina is the same way I know I don't want to be with a transgender woman. I need to know who I'm with is real. 100%. If I fall for somebody because of a lie, that's another thing too. I would never want to be with somebody because of that. Okay. Give me the option. You know what I mean? Give me that choice. Let me make the decision.
Let's get to something else. I found something very interesting the other day.
Did you?
Maybe so. Oh yeah. And I'm not.
It's called a fidget spinner.
It's over. That's been a long time ago.
I saw something really interesting. Maybe you guys saw it. You guys watch Vlad TV?
Yeah.
Oh, not Vlad TV. Sorry.
Yeah.
What's his name? Everyday Struggle. Academics.
Oh, I don't watch it.
Academics put it. He put it out there.
Cheers, Renee.
Little. Oh, what's his name?
That's Mo. Little.
No. And where can you find him?
MoLittle.com.
Okay. He's like an Asian dude, colorful shit. I'm old. You know saying it.
What do you say?
Colored dreads.
Lil Pump.
No, not Lil Pump.
Yeah,
Lil Pump. No. Lil.
Yachty?
Who's
not the one in Lil Pump?
Sorry.
Little Pump.
Pete Pass.
Pete Pass. So it's Lil Pump. Lil Pump was on Warner Brothers. I don't know. Okay, but he signed a record deal. He signed a record deal when he was a minor.
Okay.
Yeah.
With Warner, and now when he was trying to get off the label, he got off the label because he signed as a minor.
Yeah.
And he's got all his masters, so he's like worth millions, and Warner is like, we fucked up. Because now he's got his masters, he's off the label.
So he signed, not his guardian.
There was no guardian, there was no parent.
So what did he
like all like the Gucci Gang that he did, big songs. He's like in the prime of his career,
Warner Brothers.
This is the end of his career.
Yeah.
This is the prime of his 3-year career.
No,
this
no.
is the prime and the end of his career. He is primer and paint all in one.
No, but right now at this point, having everything, like having your masters, having a hit song.
Congratulations to you. Other than that, we don't give a shit.
But how important is it to be in control of it? Because he wasn't happy, obviously. Well, you got to get there has to be something to where you're like, okay, I have to get off of this situation.
If I knew I could get out of a situation like that, I'd be happy to.
First of all,
just by learning.
Well, it's funny.
It's funny. It depends.
Well, it depends on how well the company treats you. But
I was talking about this earlier.
That's your escape, right?
What are you giving? What are you taking? I don't know.
See, mom posed a question like that to me because I'm like, you know, when like celebrities that pose in front that they are the owners of a business, right? When they're not, like Rihanna, for one, Fenty's not her business; she's just a name to front that business. Diddy and Ciroc, same thing. Drake and Virginia Black, same thing, right? Pose a question: what would you do if they came to you, want to lease your name or buy your name to pose for their company? Lease my name? No. Partner with me? Possibly, right? I need to own my shit.
But if they lease it, you still own it.
No.
I mean, if you
because the terms is like it's like Jay-Z and when he was an owner of Brooklyn, right?
But
he was only a 1% owner of Brooklyn. His name helped them move Brooklyn from Jersey to Brooklyn, right?
So what's wrong with that?
No, he's in there for the short-term gain. He's in there for a short-term gain, right? My issue was because a lot of these clothing lines and liquor brands and makeup companies are only using that face because if they don't use that face, they can't sell what they're selling.
Right.
So
so
that's marketing.
Right.
By the way,
I understand that. It is marketing, right? But if Rihanna was really business-minded, or Drake was she's caking. But how much more money would she have if Fenty was actually?
Yeah, but how many records would she make if she was focused on her other business?
You ain't got the answer, Sway. You ain't got the answer, Sway.
But it's like,
why does it matter though?
That's the answer to your question.
Why does it matter? Yeah. Because it for me, maybe not for you, but for me, it matters because who I'm supporting. It matters who I'm supporting.
Not what matters is it's all dependent on the circumstances. But in those examples, yeah, you
so
we have a contract.
Hold on, wait.
Company you respect.
Hold on, wait. Hold on. Let me just break it down like this. Let me break it down like this. If Drake actually went out independent and didn't sign a deal, right? He would own 100% of his music, right?
But he would have to spend how much more?
It doesn't matter. He'd own 100% of his
but
music.
It does matter.
Because
it does matter. Because we don't know how much labels
because right now, Drake owns less than 33.3% of his music. So would you rather own less than a third of your music and own 100%? And it doesn't matter because at the time that he came out, his name alone would have sold him the same numbers without the machine behind him.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
We don't know if it would have been.
I don't know if he
we don't know if he would have had that.
Also funny about
I
that.
can't say that.
Everyone was trying to figure out who he was signed to, and meanwhile he had always been signed.
Right.
And that's what labels do now. They sign you under the table. And they don't
But then you have him, for
organic
example,
or
and then you have someone.
That's a good point.
Number one, but number two, Rihanna does one photo shoot. She does one photo shoot, and she fucking makes what? Do you know what I mean? Put in, get out. These are put in, get out. These are what are you giving, what are you taking?
Yeah.
With Rihanna, she does one
She didn't
photo
spend her whole life building
and she
up
has
this
a
company
fucking
like.
That's it.
company
like,
under her that
okay.
she doesn't have to do shit.
She was getting a video.
So what's a
Well,
company
she
that you
fucking-
respect?
Brooklyn Circus.
Brooklyn Circuit. So if they say we want to lease your name, we're gonna do everything ourselves. Brooklyn Circus. It's gonna be under Brooklyn Circus. Everything. We just want to lease your name for this. We'll pay you this much to do it,
Brooklyn
and it's
Circus.
enough money that you want.
We don't know.
So would you lease your name?
Brooklyn
You gotta do
Circus, I
shit.
would.
You sit
So
on
you
this
would
couch
lease
and
your name.
drink
Brooklyn
while you
Circus,
make
I would.
money.
But that's the choices. That's the choices you make. Rihanna made that
Make
choice
money
to
while
work
you
with that
sleep.
company.
I
Just
want to make
because
money
she
while I
made that
sleep,
choice
man.
doesn't mean you
You
have to
make
that
records.
choice.
We make records while you sleep.
But it's like,
Yes,
you can't.
I want to make money while I sleep, man.
Here's the thing with all of these
I
artists,
want to make money while I sleep.
whether it's Drake, Rihanna, or whoever, we don't know the paperwork. We have it. We have an idea. We
Right.
have certain shit that happen that gets posted online. We don't know what they're making.
Okay,
If
it's like
they were truly unhappy, you would really
Okay, but
see
listen,
them come
And
out
you're
and
saying
say
this
certain-
from your position, not from a position of a person who's making a couple million for giving their name for a short
Truly.
time.
but at the end of the day,
Yeah,
look,
we-
You know,
there's
you're
something-
getting attacked right now. It's bullshit too, because I understand where you're coming from too.
because at the end of the day, it's like what I'm really getting at is renting versus owning.
Fair,
Right?
It's a fair
Like,
argument.
why would you want to rent an apartment for $12.50, right? When you could buy a condo for and pay a mortgage for $12.50.
But
And then you're worth half a mil by the end.
you're not the one renting. They're renting from you. You have your voice.
But
They
but
come
hold
to
on.
you and
But
they
they
pay you
They pay
for
me
your
listen,
voice.
Pay me for if they want to pay me for my name and it's solely off of
Yeah.
like an endorsement deal.
Yeah.
It's an endorsement deal.
Yeah.
But when you front as the owner of a company, when you front as that,
So like label wise.
you're right.
But fronting. Truly, when you go to these labels,
marketing.
No,
exactly.
but different.
That's what it is.
What about
when you go to these labels,
until
marketing, man.
until people actually did research on who owned Fenty, right? It was a front that Rihanna owned.
yeah, definitely. That's the thing. They're not gonna do that and be like, oh, we own it, but it's named after. No, that's the
Right,
that's
again.
the promo.
Again,
Exactly.
But
Steph Curry is
Right.
Steph
Tell me.
Steph Curry has an endorsement deal, right, with Under Armour.
Right.
Right?
You think put some nice
Steph
shoes and
Curry
a tie
is
on it.
Steph Curry is a face.
But
Of Under
when
Armour.
Steph Curry's shoe comes out, it's Under Armour, then the name. The Fenty is Fenty. So that's what she's doing.
Our man's being radio.
So it's like, to me, it's
See, again, listen.
Turn down.
Again, it has. I don't care how much money or how much no paperwork she's not doing. Right. End of the day is, if she started the company and hired the same person who is actually the owner,
Yeah.
if she started the company, hired the same person that is the actual owner of Fenty, and had them run the company for her, it's different.
Do you remember when?
I don't know.
when
I'm not
Sway-
that. I'm not.
Do you remember that Sway thing with Kanye, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the shoe company, and Sway was like, "Well, why don't you start your own shoe company?" And Kanye, the thing that really sucked to me about that, and a couple of things Kanye did, because I thought what Kanye was saying was so important, but it got lost in the translation, right? And I don't know whether this is maybe what Rihanna's
A
going
lot of
through.
what Kanye says gets lost in everything.
It does, because what was really important about what Kanye was trying to say at that point was, he was saying, look, I am fighting racism on a corporate level.
Right.
That's what's happening,
Right.
right? Like, I'm designing a shoe, and you don't want to give me the same percentage
Or credit.
that some unknown white guy is getting.
Right.
But I'm like the most known,
Person.
and I've built such a thing, and you're trying to pay me less of a percent. And Kanye's going, fuck building my own shoe. These motherfuckers are trying to fuck me around.
Right.
And so, because I don't think that necessarily answers what,
Well, who
question,
does-
what you're saying.
Who does that help other than Kanye?
Who does? Well, I mean, there's
No, but because his
I think
fight.
Kanye, what he really meant in that whole thing was, where am I? What's going
Because
on?
well, no, because Sway's like, well, why don't you make your own shoe? Why you gotta bitch about
Well,
Nike? And he's like, yo, I'm gonna bitch about Nike because fuck Nike.
exactly.
And I don't know. I don't think Rihanna's fight is the same fight.
No.
But I'm comparing it because owning versus, that was
Right.
part of what Kanye was going through. And then you listen to Dame Dash, like, who is a blowhard motherfucker, and it's
But he has some
it
good
bores
points
me.
within it.
I get it. He's
That's a good
a
question.
blowhard motherfucker, and I can't listen to him, but I get it.
Right.
They're like, well, I put up my own money. I put up my own money. Did you put up your own money? Did you put it? And that's this whole shit. It's like, okay, well, it's about a little more than that,
Exactly.
I think with Dame, because and I think we should move on with this and get on to something else.
I don't know.
I hear what you're saying, though.
I
I hear what you're saying, because you got ganged up on, and I want to say
This happens all the time.
Can we touch the black and the
It
white?
happens all the time.
Come on,
It happens all the time. It happens all the time.
It's a different level of.
Happens all the time.
Sway can operate on a level.
Huh?
Sway can operate on her. Kanye is on a different
They
level.
married.
He's trying to do something beyond his level.
Yeah.
Sway's trying to do something beyond his level. So it never really matches up at some point, right? And we all go through different struggles on different levels. So with that being said, Fresh Kills, what is your favorite NPC joint that you
before we
watch?
get into that, we still have 2 points.
Yeah,
in here.
we're
not
gonna
jumping
come
into
back
that
there.
yet. We're not going into
Cheese.
that. We're not going into that.
Cheese.
I had to try.
What-
I had to try. I had to try.
What I wanted to say
Okay.
was, it's all really based on what your needs are.
Yeah.
If you're an artist and you feel you can do your own promotion and you can do your own marketing and you can do everything
Right,
that
right.
That
then
machine.
boom, you own that.
machine.
Right.
If you feel you can,
Right.
you are going to sell to that label. You're going to take that 1/3 because that other 2/3 is what is going to make you blow up. It's the shit you can't do.
Yeah.
So it's all about
Kanye took
their
the
needs
internship.
itself. It's like
Yeah.
Rihanna with the thing. Is she really going to go open up a perfume
Rihanna
thing? Is
and
she
you're
really
using
going to
extreme
hire
examples.
people to
Kanye used
put the mix up? If she
Kanye-
really
she-
does she want to go through that, or does she just say, pay me this much and use my name?
Rihanna
Kanye-
owes more to the machine.
She's
than other
done that
artists.
though. She's gone through those steps to make
I
the
work
colors,
on
the
But
it.
color
they
palettes, whatever.
get to that
for her.
level,
Those,
so
yeah,
they can
but-
say, use my name.
But at the
for
same
this.
time, that company
They've
is
gotten
the
to
people
that
that
level.
brought the people who had those mix to her.
Right.
So she didn't have to go find those people who can do that.
But you saying that she
You know what I mean?
couldn't?
I'm not saying that she
I'm
couldn't.
saying she
Tell
can.
my
Don't
assistant
say she
to
couldn't.
I'm saying she
define
can.
We're
what
not
I
saying
need.
she couldn't. We're saying
I'm saying she
this
can.
is what she wanted.
This
You
is
know
what
I
she
mean?
chose to do.
She
But this
didn't
is
want to do
but
that.
again, this is my issue. My issue is not not the choice that they made. My issue is them fronting as if they are fronting, Mom. They're fronting. See,
Linda.
know who's not fronting?
Linda,
Steph Curry's not
listen,
fronting.
Linda,
LeBron
listen.
James isn't fronting. Michael wasn't fronting when he
LeBron
was on.
James'
When,
hairline
because
is
it
a
says
front.
Nike.
LeBron James' hairline is a
I
front.
swear to God,
It's not fronting.
Hair plugs is a front. But
LeBron,
no,
I
listen,
love you.
but listen, LeBron, you're a fucking dick face. But anyways, listen, when Michael came out,
Another
when
show.
Michael got his Nike
And we've had this
endorsements,
conversation.
right? He's endorsing Nike's brand, right? When Nike fucked up and gave him his own brand, Nike fucked up and gave him his own brand.
Why did they fuck up?
Because Jordan brand is his brand. It's not Nike's brand.
You don't think Nike
How
owns
long
a
did it
percentage
take?
of that
They
brand?
don't. They
Hold on.
used to.
How long did
They
it take?
used to.
Hold on. Hey, today. How long did it take before Jordan Brand became Jordan Brand and not off of Nike?
That's fine.
No.
How long?
I'm
That's a
asking
good
you.
question, actually.
And
Because
I
at
think it
some
was like
point- at some point-
I think it was like 10 years. No, I think it
No,
was
that's
10
what
years.
it was more than 10 years.
No,
They didn't just pop up his brand until he
No,
No,
I think it was
he
10
back.
years.
Not
No.
even when he came back. It was like when he retired. That's when the Jordan brand became
Even
big.
10 years
Because
is a
when
long
Jordan brand
time.
came
But
out,
again, he's
that's
still.
when Diddy and all
You
the
guys are confusing the two topics. You guys are confusing owner, fake owner, front man, fake shop,
What I'm saying is,
bodega. Listen, this is what I'm talking about. Bodega. Here's a bodega.
Clean your money.
Here is an endorsement. Here's a face.
Yeah.
Bodega,
what hap-
face.
what I'm
That's
asking
it.
is-
No.
No, what I'm asking.
Do you understand the two topics?
How
though?
long did it take for him to
Do you understand the two topics though?
Yes, I do.
Because how long Jordan
What's
took
the
to get a
liquor
Jordan
company
brand? Right?
Say
Huh?
again?
What's it called?
Bodega.
No, Rihanna's liquor company.
No, her makeup,
A makeup company.
Yeah,
Fenty
Makeup
Beauty.
company, what's it called?
Fenty
Fenty.
Beauty.
Fenty?
Yeah.
Fenty Beauty.
So for how long?
Yes,
Listen,
Mom. Yes.
how
I
long
just bought
Jordan?
something from Fenty, actually.
Listen, how long Jordan took to become a brand is irrelevant because he was paid to be endorsing Nike's brand. So that's irrelevant. LeBron James is signed to a contract to endorse Nike's brand.
Yeah.
Steph Curry's is signed to a contract to endorse Under Armour's brand.
Stacks on stacks.
But
Skills
Rihanna
on stacks.
is pretending to be the owner of a shop that she's not. She's the bodega,
Let me ask you
and
a
the
question.
store owner is actually
Oh,
on
let
the back.
Mo say what he has to say first. Knock that out.
I was gonna bring something back.
No, we gotta wrap this.
No, Mo has to finish what you said then.
Okay, so I was gonna bring back to Dave Chappelle.
I was gonna.
When you were talking about the transgender shit, and then he switched it around. He said, "This smells like white guilt."
Sure.
And
Sure.
and I never thought of that perspective.
Yeah,
Until he said
it
it.
stinks of white privilege.
You know,
It
he-
sure
What was
does.
the other thing he said? He's like, you know why transgender?
Stinks of
No,
white
he's like, the
privilege.
reason why transgenders make him mad, he's like, don't say that transgender stuff around black people because he believes the transgender movement only got big because white males want
Now
to be.
all of a sudden, you guys,
so
we have to listen to
so
you.
it's
Now
going
you
back
have
to that
problems.
whole
Yeah.
white male
Yeah.
rulership
Right.
over everything. So people are bigging them up, but at the same time, it's only going
Because-
they.
Is it not
Because
saying
what?
women isn't saying they're gay rights,
Because
isn't it?
Bruce Jenner,
That's it.
Could argue.
Bruce Jenner can't,
I don't know.
you know, saying Bruce Jenner is not pretty because she's Caitlyn Jenner.
Bruce Jenner was on a
And it was
weed
easier for
Lovely.
It was easier for Caitlyn Jenner
Right?
to change her name than it was for Muhammad Ali
To change his
name.
name.
Yeah,
To change his name. Yeah.
Wow.
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
It's
little
true.
things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Dave Chappelle.
final thought on it.
My mom thought it. Hey!
We're gonna switch it up.
I'm early.
We're in there, so
Dave Chappelle, but Dave Chappelle.
basically your thoughts.
My thought is sensitivity is situational context. It's about context.
Yeah.
You know, as a white man, I
Wait, you're
you
what?
learn you
Fuck off.
you have
Or
you learn as a
transparent.
progressive person.
As a
Trying to be a progressive
transparent
person,
male.
As a transparent.
you learn to
With the
listen.
chest.
You have to listen,
Yeah.
and you have to be you have to listen to the context. Of
Hey!
You have to listen to the context of who you love, whether that be women or people of color or LGBT. It's what it is.
Here's the ownership, whether it's a company, who you are, what you do. Ownership.
It's we're trying to like
You gotta have
we're trying to
it
conserve.
now. Hey! Love. Cheers.
Oh, by the way,
Sorry, real quick. Woo, Jamie, what's up, Rick? What up, boys? Happy New Year.
What up, Jamie? Happy New Year.
Serve on mine.
Lisa says all I have to say is I have a problem with mine.
I'm like,
Okay. Drew says sup, Emma and Cesar. Mary says sup, Trace. Renee says cheers, boys. Shout out to everybody. Let's go. Wow! Join us on MaxNow.tv where we continue on. I don't know where the heck the button is.
So did you guys see that video I sent with the drunk versus high?
Oh, yeah.
yes, yes, that was
Did you show him?
that was amazing.
I tagged you in it.
So anyways, there's like
show
two
it, show it.
chicks. One's dancing like a madman.
Yeah,
And the other one is standing there.
Just like this.
That's it.
So one is standing there,
Is
and
that
first
guy-
he was like,
Hold on.
and his jacket's
Hold
on,
on.
and then the scene kind of cuts, and then his jacket's on his head, and he's like,
Hold on. That's that guy
and this guy, yeah. And that and this rap's over here too. Because
I want to come back. I'm gonna bring a nice big bottle for you guys.
Wait,
so
is
I
it-
can come back.
Is it that time?
It's not, but I just want you to
No,
know I love
it's
this. I didn't mean to cut you off because I love this. Next time I'm gonna bring a fucking big
Well,
bottle.
let me ask you this.
We did our math
I'm
wrong.
gonna bring him on.
And this is
Actually, it's been okay.
Because the high versus drunk shit.
This is actually the best time to ask.
what are you though? When you're drunk,
Yeah, I
can
think
you?
it's almost time for.
When you're drunk, can you maneuver nicely or?
Don't do that.
I have
challenge
negotiated.
fun.
I have negotiated
That's-
dance floors. I've negotiated dance floors of all shapes and sizes on every different type of thing.
Let me ask you
With the same, you know, like if I'm with a girl or I have may I have a target, like I'm trying to negotiate all those things. So I don't know. Drunk, I have been shot down drunk more than I have been shot down the other way.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
They don't know nothing about that. You're right. Go ahead.
He's been shot down drunk
That's all
more
I
than he
got.
has been the other way, you know.
Yeah. We'll talk about that after show.
I don't know if I get shot.
Dominican. We'll talk about that. Go ahead.
That's all I got.
Okay.
That's all I got.
What I wanted to do was because we're working on an album. We're dealing with all our guests. We want to incorporate what they do.
Oh, okay.
Can we get fresh Kils on the shot club album?
We've been.
Yeah,
Whose fault was
I'm
that
down.
though?
I'm down.
I don't think so.
It's the one that we did the beats after.
Yo, I'm down.
Okay,
I'm a
okay.
cheap date, man.
Can I ask you this? You started doing
Take a
the
lick of
YouTube
ice.
videos very early.
Yeah.
Like YouTube was really a thing. Like really, I remember the first time that I really got into YouTube. I don't know about you guys.
Sure.
The first time you saw it and you
You
were
porn or YouTube?
like,
If you're talking about you porn, it's X2.
I got you porn early too, but yeah.
however, I remember when you porn. But
X2.
anyways,
I remember the launch.
you, You started doing videos very early.
Paid into their.
From what I
He go funded them before they started.
I gave them my email. I gave them my email in advance so they could tell me when you're about to launch it.
I don't think any more insights needed to go.
Oh, and before I go any further, I do like. Oh, before I go any further, I do want to shout out DJ Bylong.
Bylong!
He's doing his thing. He's hitting us with sound effects.
He's gonna go at.
Makes me horny.
We should
Makes me horny.
You want to shoot that right now? Well, okay. With people with their questions, if you
Why are we
really
gonna
want
play
to
the
see,
live clip right before he goes live?
Let's get
to see if you can see.
let's get to
Hold on.
We gotta give him another shot.
No, we gotta put another shot.
I do need another one.
And we need another shot in there.
Set up.
I also do want to shout out to DJ Shortcut. He's in the building. Shortcut.
Hey.
Max Now fam.
Sorry,
Bylong.
do you DJ as well?
No, I'm a terrible DJ. I cannot.
You love vinyl, don't you?
I collect vinyl, but I don't collect as a DJ.
What vinyl is
sample.
vinyl? I've noticed that since I started collecting vinyl, I've stopped playing almost any other medium. If I don't have it on vinyl, I really don't play it.
It's an interesting thing that happens.
Yeah.
I feel you, man.
But the thing is, I don't like some of the newer vinyl.
Well, it's not. Yeah, why?
I don't get that hiss and that click.
It's not vinyl. It's just.
There's a lot of
It's the
things
same.
about it.
Okay, okay, that brings us to a better point. As a producer,
Do you play instruments?
can we not do that right now?
Yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on. Hayden Dave is gonna. Hayden Dave is gonna.
He said yes, so I think we can talk.
Hold on, hold on. Perfect. Can I get to this before Hayden Dave goes ballistic? And
I knew he
will
did
give-
though. I knew he did though.
Okay, but I will ask. I know a lot of producers. They will sample from certain things. What is your favorite to sample from? Vinyl, MP3.
My favorite is definitely.
And do you care?
I do care, but I'll tell you why. When I started out in Halifax, and a thing happened to me in Halifax when I moved between Halifax and here, is that so early on, I was in Halifax from '98 to 2002, and I tracked Scratch Bass's like one of his first beats he'd ever made and he brought over his S950.
Special K, what up?
And we, and he and I tracked it. And while I was tracking his beat for an artist I was working with, he asked me if he could go through my records, and I said, yeah. I said, fine, go, whatever. So Bassett goes through my records, and the next week I started hearing shit about how I had been guilty, because when he went through my records, what he found was he found reissues. I used to go to Cops Records on Queen and buy reissues of stuff that I knew I couldn't find on originals of, right? Like I bought the Skull Snaps break, okay, on vinyl. Now I could have ripped that from a million places. I would never be able to find that record, nor would I be able to afford it if I found it. So I figured, well, fuck.
How much would that record be?
It would have been $400 or $500 at the time, American. So I was like, well, fuck, at least I buy the record, right?
Right.
But anyway, so when Bassett went through my records, he found all these reissues. And that went around Halifax, which at the time was a very purist
But he was really upset.
area. He wasn't upset,
He wasn't upset, but he was just
but
like,
he was
okay.
like, yo, Kils sample reissues, yo.
Oh,
Wait,
I got pants
that
for
is
it.
Hold on.
something.
I'm not gonna say that word. He blew up your spot.
Yeah.
Actually, he did expose them. He said he got pants for it.
Hold
He
on,
got, he got,
I got hated on. I got hated on for sampling
I
issues.
got this.
Wheat sauce.
I got this. Scratch Bastard, we might need you here on the Shot Club to
No.
answer for this.
Wheat
I'm
sauce.
saying.
Come on, like, seriously,
I'm
though?
saying.
Reissue?
no, but
I got hate on for reissues, but at the time, just keep in mind, at the time, especially Halifax, but in general, there was a hella purist sort of sentiment going on with hip hop music, and also another thing that I want to say too in general, and this is an interesting sort of I want to say anthropological observation, is that Halifax
Still using big words.
The thing about Halifax was a very, very divided hip hop situation, racially, financially, like class wise and everything. There was Dartmouth and there was Halifax, and there was an artsy thing going on with Buck 65 and his Sebutones, Josh Martinez, and then there was a divide on the other side of on the dark side. They called it the dark side. It was the music was a lot harder, it was a lot tougher. It was black music, and that was a tension in Halifax. Halifax always had an interesting racial relations. So
What up, Jess?
there was in Halifax, there was definitely a purist movement going on, and I was a new jack, and I got hated on for everything from what I was sampling to what I was making to all kinds of shit. All kinds of shit.
So how do you feel about that now?
I understand it in retrospect, but what I will say is what happened when I moved to Toronto. This was the shit, and I'm going to answer your question about what I like to sample because when I moved to Toronto, I went to the Harris Institute, and I was lucky, blessed, privileged enough to get an internship with K-Cut of the main source.
Right.
That was a huge, huge thing. And I was his engineer for 3 years. And the thing, when I met him, I'll never forget, there was this young kid, his name was Watts. And everybody knows who Watts is. Watts now is making like big fucking dance records in France. But at the time, I met him when he was like 17, 18. And he had already placed records with Young Guns, Jaheim, Redman, Budden, Foxy Brown, and literally all he had was turntables and his computer and a couple little computer speakers. And this kid was like making the heaviest shit, and he didn't give a fuck who he sampled or where it came from or nothing. Yeah. And this kid is running circles around.
How old is he?
Everybody. He's 17, 18. Crazy. 17, 18.
Crazy.
And his shit comes to the studio and it's ready. It's not like it needs a mix. This shit is fucking ready. And I remember at that point, he took a Stanley Jordan record and he made the hottest fucking shit I've ever heard out of it. And I was like, and he probably sampled it off YouTube. And I was sitting there going like, all the haters in Halifax, I was just like, whatever, man. Like, I can't compete against this kid if I'm gonna like set myself up against with these principles.
Only get the $500 record to sample.
No, it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Well, no, you would be competing with local to stay local.
Right.
I suppose that's the thing. Yeah. The thing is, I respect people that want to sample records, and I remember meeting Frank Dukes who he came back from fucking Japan, and he had like he bought $150 record and it was in a fucking film canister, and he was like, "Yo, this is the hottest funk I've ever heard in my life." I just came back. I'm like, "Fuck, that's crazy." And I respect the vinyl cats, man. I respect those dudes.
Shout out to Frank Dukes though. Frank,
if you want to sample,
he's huge.
If you want to sample, wherever you can find a sample session.
This is the thing: is that it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. The only responsibility that you have, or that any of us have with each other, him included, is to make the hottest shit possible. I don't care who you have to fucking kill to make that shit happen.
Trump. Trump.
Make the hottest shit.
Fresh Kils Trump.
Make the hottest shit.
Kils.
So
he said Kils.
I prefer sample from vinyl. I still prefer sample from vinyl.
We're taking stock of how many times you say Kils.
I still like to sample from vinyl.
I moved to Montreal. I went to Travis there.
Yay! The doc has spoken.
Travis.
Anyways, I started a group called Famine. Worked with another group called Party. We were all transplants. We started to make a lot of fucking noise. And worked really hard. Make a lot of music and good music.
Hated on for something.
And we got hated on like fucking crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
We ended up getting like #1 in this like local paper for some shit. It didn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Everyone was just like flabbergasted. They're like, this is crazy, you guys. Like, who the fuck are you guys? We got hated on like crazy.
Yeah.
Same thing. I was like, I could have been like, oh, I better try and like
not be popular.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what you want me to do. And then like, I had bigger and better things on my mind. And now I come to Toronto 10 years later, and people are like, oh, you're from Montreal. You're that artist from Montreal. And I'm like, I'm not from there, but like all that time I was there and feeling like I wasn't from there, and you know what I mean. And now it's people think that
we need to say something. I need to say something about the generation gap shit, because you see this Pete Rock tweeting about mumble rap and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the one thing that I feel is like really important is that Pete Rock wants to bitch about mumble rap. Now I understand that argument, and we're all products of our thing. But my generation, the generation above me, they did not like me. They hated on me and they disowned me. essentially in some senses in Halifax.
In what sense? In what sense? Because
I was hated on. You get hated on.
Like me,
you get hated on.
I watch what you do as far as a performer, and I say
totally different later, way
say,
later in my career.
No,
way later.
Because I look at what you did and I'm like, how can you hate him? Like he's one of us.
I appreciate you saying that.
And
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that.
And his hair is.
There's two things.
And
Oh
paint.
shit.
That's the next topic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on there, but there's two things. There's two things I want to say though. Is that when P Rock hates on mumble rap, the thing is that P Rock has to take responsibility for mumble rap. He has to take responsibility for his part in the hype, you know. And there's a lot of artists that aren't reaching across the aisle. They're not helping to guide the next generation. They're not being part of it.
They're not.
They're being protected and doing the thing.
Exactly, they are.
And I understand what people are saying, and I understand why people don't hear mumble rap, but you have to, if you're gonna, you have the responsibility for your lineage. And the other thing, I appreciate what you just said about me, because one of the things that I always try to do is be aware of what, you know, like there's a reason why I don't sample a lot of soul records, for example. I don't do a lot of that. And it's not because soul records don't speak to me, but I think soul music is different for everybody. Like when I was growing up, my dad loved Elvis and Buddy Holly and like, you know, the Big Bopper and shit. Yeah. You know, and that was soul music to me, you know? Yeah. So I'm not necessarily going to go and sample a Marvin Gaye record, because it's not because I don't love Marvin Gaye and it's not because I wouldn't do it or whatever. It's been done.
But it's what.
And it's definitely not my shit to do.
You're right, because the soul music that speaks to you is, you know, the music that you pretty much grew up on.
Sure.
Right? Because
exactly.
you go back to, you know, you might have a nostalgic moment about your dad, and you play the record and you'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And you might take that record and make the best kind of shit out of it.
So most of the time when we're in the studio, we're judging the worth of what we've done in the studio against what's hot now, right? Everybody's like, well, you know, you listen to a rap, you're like, okay, like whether you like it or not is affected so much by what you hear and
which is sort of great now, because I like most of what's coming out, so I don't have to do that.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna do. I mean, there's a reason why I sampled Led Zeppelin and Tenacious D and records that I was.
The challenge.
So right before we jump into the challenge,
I read a Facebook status today.
Running out of time.
I read a Facebook stat. Not even. I read a Facebook status today. He said and this is like, he's not a young dude. He's from Montreal. I'm trying to remember his name. I'm trying to look up the exact quote, but he literally said, "All you old rappers," and he's not a young dude. He was saying, "All you old rappers that are hating on this young shit, you were there when fucking DOS Effects was like, skip it, and all this shit. And RZA was slurring his words, and Wu-Tang was making up words, and like, it's all like you said.
Actually, we'll come back to your response.
We got the evolution progression.
But we're gonna get into our challenge, but before we get into challenge, we're gonna get into a clip. Just in case in the challenge he slips up.
We're gonna play a clip.
They can see him do.
The doubt is real.
So
doubt is real.
We'll throw this off to Mom.
My man's got this shit.
Mom,
I got complete faith in my man.
Put us on.
I seen this.
Show him the clip.
I make this shit.
Yeah.
It was probably live on a big ticket.
Oh, I know the one he said.
Sorry,
I'm not gonna do that one. You don't want to do the same.
No, of course not.
No. You want point fight?
We just want you to sit here for 3 minutes. Well,
I don't ever wait for nobody. Get up and lay on, blow my show money, drunk to the beat, taking my coat from me. Now I'm weak.
Can't see shit. It's Charlie.
I fucking love it. Mocha only.
It is, bro. Not dissing. Just trying to instigate.
Mocha only. One of those cats.
I don't have an experience.
Yeah. You know what? I feel you. Some people do or don't, but I'll say one thing. Oh wait, yeah. Look at that. The thing about Mocha is that when Mocha dies, everyone is gonna be like, he was the greatest!
Yeah.
Like, where are you right now?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. He's gonna be that dude.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he has that experience.
It was weird.
He's a weird guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, he's recovering and all that.
It's mostly like
He's recovering?
shit.
Oh yeah.
I really like
Forget?
Mobility.
Yeah.
We're recovering from dealing with fucking
He was a
fuckface.
junkie. He was a junkie. But and maybe this is
45
my
seconds.
mistake.
45 seconds
left.
till I go.
Right.
And then we're back on air, and you
Fucking-
can talk about him making the beat. You can say we just checked you out live at Big Ticket, and you do a little something for us or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the video.
I'm gonna do the Jimi Hendrix shit. Is that cool?
Who's gonna rap? You? You rapping?
Things.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back.
We're black.
So now that you guys have seen everything, now that you guys seen everything, right before we jump into the
So
challenge,
that was
we're gonna
Fresh
take
Kils and
one
Big
more
Ticket.
Fresh Kils, Big Ticket.
We're gonna do one more shot. Fresh Kils is gonna do what he really does.
Oh my god.
Big Ticket.
That was them. This is
If you guys
them.
don't know what Big Ticket was, but I want to say is because mom is. We're gonna bring it back.
It's your
Big Ticket. We're holding on to hope. We're holding on to hope that she brings it back.
Mom
But
has to bring
that
Big Ticket
was
back.
one of the biggest events in Toronto.
She can't be upstairs making lasagna all the time.
So let's take this shot and jump into the challenge.
No, let's not.
What? I didn't know that.
Sorry.
Merry Christmas. Challenge.
Happy birthday. I mean,
Challenge.
Here we go.
Challenge.
Okay.
Fresh Kils doing what he does. Doing his
Do I
doing.
do the
I know
No
you want to
pressure.
be like no pressure because I know this is
Do I do
fucking
the
natural
thing?
from you.
No
Yeah,
pressure.
do
You
it.
can do the thing.
Do we need introduction? Are we good?
No, you
Hold
don't
on,
need
I got
shit.
you. I got you.
So what
No,
do
no,
I
Okay, I got
Do I
you.
need to
You
talk
can
about?
introduce
I
already.
got you. No, I got him. I got him.
Oh,
Okay, again.
He's gonna come back to the bathroom and
Yeah.
allow him to reintroduce himself. His name is Fresh.
Kills.
For those who have never gone on your YouTube channel, which is
/Fresh Kils with a Z at the end.
Oh.
Yes.
and have never
Oh.
peeped any of his routines that he has done, he's going to let you know what he does on the MP live here
See?
for us on Shot Club.
There we go.
MP Club.
You know you are true love.
Challenge. Challenge.
And you know you are sweet little love maker. That's it. You know you are true love heartbreaker. That's it. Yeah.
Trace, hit him. Hit him with a bar.
No, this is live. He is making this live.
Trace,
So
hit
you
him with a
guys
bar.
understand.
Go.
That's it.
Hey. Hey.
Come on. Go. Give him eight. Chase.
I want to take a sip. I feel like I'm the prince.
I feel like I'm gonna decipher it. There's so much liquor in me. I'm trying to get my
The magic spin. I want to spit. Keep your eyes on the phone. You got that song? You got that song?
Chase.
Boom.
Listen here.
Hey.
Listen here.
I've been trying to spit like the whole time this guy started.
Let me say this. First of all, for those that don't know what he just did, we're technicians of what we do. This guy right here, that guy right there as well, masters of what they do. That right there,
Hey, they're sweet little
I am a
honest
master of
love
what I do too.
makers.
You're a
no.
master.
I'm
I am
talking
a
about.
master of what I do.
I'm talking about
No, right there though.
what just happened right there. That's some Portishead shit. and some Jimi Hendrix shit, and he just made it sound like it was one.
And you do it without the LSD.
But he did drink with us.
I didn't do the LSD. He did do a couple hits. He did do a couple hits before.
On the shot club, maxnow.tv.
I am fucked up.
No, I'll tell you this right now. I'll tell you this much right now. You guys have to appreciate just what just happened here. Like that sound, that energy. You know what I mean? Just the vibe alone.
Let's
That Portishead shit, first of all. That Portishead shit threw me off. I was gonna
doing that in the first place.
Those are 2 records that are
Not even that, just like to start. Like, what told you, like, you know what?
This is Fresh Kils.
right after. That's right after Sour
This
Time.
is what I do, and I want to do it live, and I want to do it like this. Like,
That's right after Sour Times too. You could have gone. You could have gone really easy and gone Sour Times, but you went right.
I went Strangers in Sour Times, but I used the Danube incident sample from the Mission Impossible TV show.
Sasson.
You just said a whole bunch of words.
What made me want to do it is that I was going to shows when I made beats. I was going to shows where I produced records for cats, and they would perform them, and I wouldn't even get a shout out.
Right.
Sometimes I would. Sometimes I would get a shout out.
Shout out our people. By
Right, but-
Scott. What's
But
up?
even
What's
shout out, and like sometimes
Stevie,
you're
yeah.
like, I would like love getting a shout out, and then I'm like, fuck, shout out's not enough either. Like I want to fucking rock this shit.
Let's get
Also,
dirty with DJ
hip hop
Bobo.
shows fucking suck.
Yep.
Live music, in terms of what live music is, hip hop is the worst. It is like it is.
I think it's not
karaoke.
the worst. It's that
It's fucking
they
karaoke.
don't put anything behind it as a performance. They just go there and rap to the lyrics and stand on stage and go back and forth. They don't actually create something.
Shout out to the
And actually, truly, the only people
Shout out to the
talk about him,
but
who puts a lot into his life.
Right.
he puts a lot into his live show. Like when he gets on stage, this is one thing that he starts with. It's he plays his iPod.
Yeah.
But it's the track. But the whole thing is, he tells Siri, play this. Siri plays it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, change it. And he goes, you'll be changing this. And then it does it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes it interactive. Like, hold on, what the hell's going on? It makes you want to get into it.
That's the Blair Witch Project thing, right? Like all they had was a couple of handheld cameras, and they made a multi-million-dollar movie.
What year was that? Like
But the
99.
right, but the secret to that is that the medium is the message. So if all you have on stage is an iPhone and yourself, how are you gonna make that work? That's one way that you can make it work. There's a bunch of ways.
Is myself and my
your beers.
But
tattoos.
let's be serious.
Ladies
Your
love your
show
tattoos. That's all you need.
and
has
I
a
will wow
theme
the
to it.
fuck out though.
Your show has a
That's
theme
better.
to it. Yours is the college guy, like the party guy, the drinking guy. Like when you get in there right away, pause. It gives that vibe. Everybody who rocks with you is drinking.
College guy.
Say no, because he goes on stage. He goes, everybody say, and they do it back.
Everybody say,
Everybody say,
Yeah.
But it's like that's the energy he brings off is that party.
Hold on.
Frat guy.
The frat guy. The frat guy.
No.
It's a word to describe.
His name is Biff from now on.
Hold on.
He's not a one-trick pony.
Hold on.
Hey, Biff.
I think we're minimizing what he does.
No, we're not.
No. I think we are.
No. Because to do what he does, no. Because to do what he does, 90% of the people in this world can't do what he does.
That's what I'm saying. But
You know what I mean? Like it takes a lot of skill, honestly, 100%. It takes a lot of skill to be able to drink, one, the way he does, and two, perform without fucking up your lyrics.
no, that's us. That right there, what you just said there, is us. Before you got to there, right? There's certain people that can command that. We've seen that. We've seen that. We've been on the road.
Yeah.
We know
what he commands.
there's a magnetism. Certain people have a magnetism. He hasn't.
Shout out to Red Dress.
No. Respect. I see it. I see him on the road because we travel. I see Ches on the road. I know what he does.
Mm-hmm.
I know what that guy does.
This guy.
Sorry.
I'm this guy.
Sorry, I see what this guy does.
we all bring something different to the table. There's a level of magnetism and knowledge, and Fresh Kills does it to a certain degree because he's working with a machine. Before he even gets to the people, we have to get to the people.
He doesn't have a machine behind him. He has the machine in front of him.
Wow. Exactly.
That's the shirt. That's a fucking shirt, dude.
You got it!
Yo, that shit is dope. What? Put that on a shirt, man. You don't have a machine behind him.
As a performer,
in front of him.
and that's what I'm saying. As a performer, there's an awareness. Even if you don't know who's behind what we're doing, DJ Bylong is providing those sounds. So when we say something, he's on it. He's on point. Mom is in the back.
Mom's a little shit disturber sometimes, though.
But
we're upsetting her knitting and
lasagna
bingo
making.
night.
It's all
We made her
performance.
say
And what I'm saying is all performance, all awareness, and Fresh
Makes me
Kills.
horny.
No.
You're really gonna do that right there.
No. There's so many pauses.
He loves this one.
What I'm saying is that shout out to DJ Bylon.
Fucking right.
Can we get a round of applause, please? For DJ
Yes.
Bylon?
Hit the applause, please.
Yes. Thank you.
DJ
DJ Bylon.
Hit the pause, please. Hit the pause, please.
But it's all of us here on set are performers, and we all judge performances. What's your favorite performance that you've done that sticks out in your mind?
Like live show?
Yeah.
Dundas Square at Manifesto.
Really? Yeah.
It was 2014, I think.
Okay.
And the reason why it was so good
Because
is
those aren't
because-
always the craziest shows.
No, and it actually
It's very
I'll tell you what it was. It wasn't even that. I'll tell you what it was. Is I went on after Scratch of the Roots, which is
Yeah.
and then Fasted went on after me.
Hard to
Yeah, I got screwed.
Yeah.
No, but the reason why it was really important is because the
Well,
city.
blessed to go between those two.
I was blessed, yeah, because they believed I could. And remember, we started this show talking about why we do stuff, and recognition is part of it. And that was a moment where certain people in the city and they put me on a level with other people at certain levels that helped me see that about me.
Right.
Because most of the time when you're an artist, the pendulum swings. You guys know this. Like 1 minute you think you're the best shit in the world, the other minute you're like, I'm worthless and I'm lost in a sea of other motherfuckers.
Well, my pendulum is always.
You know what I'm saying?
My
And
pendulum is
that
always
day, and I want to shout out One Love and Jesse Otaki for giving me that, because there are people that gave me opportunities at certain points that thought I was as good or on that level with those people, and that night was really important. Man, my dad was so excited. We had VIP at the Hard Rock Cafe, and he Ghetto Socks in him. Ghetto Socks made fucking Fresh Kills lanyards.
Shout out to Ghetto Socks.
Fucking Ghetto Socks, shout out. Yeah, right. He's a national treasure.
Wrong button.
Ghetto Socks, we love you. That was an accident.
When your DJ drinks too
Ghetto
much.
Socks on the show, by the way. And hold on.
Sorry,
I think I could get him.
No, sorry.
Yeah, send them
I'll get him.
Please do. And because of your video, you got a dope video, and I'm King Random, we will have bowls of cereal.
Yeah!
I was actually thinking about buying blueberry kicks today.
We will have bowls of cereal. With Ghetto Socks
I
on
was
the
gonna
show.
bring-
That's the record show.
He brought
That's
snacks.
the record show.
I brought snacks. Oh, treats.
I was gonna bring a box of blueberry kicks today. Cereal.
At the record show, we will have bowls of cereal, Ghetto Socks, when you're on the show.
Yeah.
Or you.
Yeah. That was the biggest show though, because that was me reaching a level, and I needed that because I didn't believe it.
Now, is that the level you are? Is that the level you're currently on, or have you passed that level? Because I don't think you've gone backwards. I don't believe in backwards. So are you on that level, or are you past that level?
I don't know. I feel like what happens is you plateau. I'm gonna be honest with you. You plateau, and you feel like the longer you're on a plateau without another win, right? Like you have to stack wins.
Right.
If the longer you're on a plateau without a win and a jump, the more drastic and dramatic the level has to be. Yes. Actually, you should let me call.
Sorry.
What
the fuck are you
I'm
doing?
sorry.
Someone get us
We
something
don't
right now.
understand this number. Call from
No,
another
no,
one.
No. You know what? Let Kils call him.
Let Kils call him. Let's see what happens.
I'll give him a call.
Brings the cheesy every time.
You reached me. I'm not here at the moment. Best message ever.
That is no.
The message
I just
ever.
want Kils to call and
You
he picks up like
reached-
first ring. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm
You
with you when
reached-
Moses called you.
You reached
What's
me.
his number?
Leave your number.
iPhone
Let's
him or
get
you?
dirty with DJ by law.
Send to him. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We
Is a
appreciate
phone
you coming
number?
through.
Is this
Max
is
Night on
this
TV. Thank you for coming through. Every Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's a number.
It's a shot club.
is this
Where
the
else would you
fucking
be?
party
He
or
doesn't know
what?
this number.
Where else would you be?
No.
No. Where else would you be?
No, but you
They'd
know,
be at
Is this
dinner
the fucking party or
with
what?
us.
No, you wouldn't.
Be at dinner with us.
You don't want to be here around your family
Hold on.
members.
They don't want to be at dinner with us?
Hey!
They'd be at dinner with us.
That manager was like, I don't know.
So this is the last shot of the night.
It's the last shot of the night.
Last shot of the night. We still want to get you on there.
Let's
be-
get
to be
dirty with
on a
DJ
level.
by law.
On
Thanks
the
for
level.
having me, boys. Much love. Oh yeah.
We got like 10 minutes left.
Ah!
What's up? When can we anticipate this project that you're working? That you're so scared to put out.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna die before it's done. So you'll have to talk to my management.
What is
about
this?
it. You have to talk to my management about it.
What is this?
How
What?
far along is it?
Not far
Is this a
enough.
Dr. J project?
I heard
Dr.
your
Dre
girlfriend's
project?
pregnant now. How far along is she?
Yeah, not far
Hold on. Hold on. Let's-
Project
let's
Watch!
get to it.
No,
Hold on.
Project
Hold on.
Watch!
I never listen. I know enough never to give up
No,
a
no,
release
hold
date.
on,
You
hold
know
on.
that. You know
Hold
you don't do that.
I'm gonna do this for Hater Dave. I'm gonna throw the alley-oop as a producer.
What's the instrument you said? We already established it.
What instrument do you play?
I started as a guitar player. I was in rock band. I was in jazz bands. I was in a 7-piece dub reggae band in Halifax. for 3 years.
Reggae.
Are you from Halifax?
No, but everybody do say
Lived there
that.
for
No, no.
years.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. You have a connection to Hamilton. I know that.
Sure.
What is your connection to Hamilton?
I mean, I have lots of connections.
Where were
Like,
you
first
born?
of all,
Where you
I'm a
You
huge
live
fan
out
of
there?
Lee Reed. Like, Lee Reed is a god, first of all.
Shout out to Sam, our sister Sam.
Whatever.
Huge respect to Lee Reed.
Right.
Can't
by
shut
the
it
way,
down.
First. Second, I mean, Mookie put me on a lot of shows, so I have
Yeah.
respect for him.
Shout out to Mookie.
He's a polarizing character, but I love the dude.
Yeah.
Love. Nilla is my homegirl from out there who respected her for being a female MC in this in this day and age and keeping it old school too.
Sam.
She doesn't get the respect that she deserves, in my opinion. Shout out
Her name is
Nilla.
Sam?
Absolutely
Sam.
respect.
Oh, Sam, of course. But she's not in Hamilton no more, right?
I think
She's
back.
traveling.
I think she's back though.
She was traveling.
She's all
Okay,
traveling.
so where are you
Shout out
from?
to
though?
Sam. Sam.
Where
Sam, we
where
love you.
is the anchor for Fresh Kills? Where did you start?
Yeah, where are you from?
I mean, I started in Allen. I was a
Minnesota.
guitar player. I was in Toronto. I
You were born in
here.
You were born in.
Here.
You were born in
And then
Toronto.
I
What
grew up
brought you
here.
out there?
I was gonna either coast. I got accepted to
Oh, you went to
Vic,
school.
Vic,
Okay.
and I got accepted to Dow,
Let's go to school.
and I went to Dow.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Well,
but the
that-
thing is, I
that
didn't
makes
expect is that Halifax was this insane scene. Like like so many of the people that we would like classified, Bastard,
Yeah.
Caleb Simmons,
Special, what up?
Special K, sure,
Special, what up?
classified,
Yeah. Ivy.
that whole thing, DJ Ivy, I mean Gordsky, the Goods, all those cats, Josh Martinez,
Quake.
DJ Move,
He's a new one.
who produced
Quake Matthews.
Steal My Sunshine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there was so much talent happening out of there that I got caught up. I went up there and I was like, what is going on here?
And they had their own little sort of scene industry.
Yeah.
I've only been out there one time
Yeah.
with the Beat Nuts,
Yeah.
and we did
No.
whatever the.
I like how you
He
did
just
that.
dropped
You
it.
did all this.
Okay,
Nonchalant.
I gotta beat that Halifax story for you after.
No. Come
Whatever,
on.
whatever
Come on.
they have a festival, hopscotch. Hopscotch.
Yeah.
I went out there with the Beat Nuts and Ghetto Sauce
Yeah.
was there,
Yeah.
Oh, this
And we
is
did.
that.
And we did.
No fingerprints. No fingerprints. No fingerprints.
And
That's okay.
yeah, we did.
That's
When
okay.
we did our track, we performed it live for the first time, but it was the first and only time I've been out there.
And it was awesome, right?
Great. Yeah, it was amazing,
awesome.
man.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy.
Allie's a
My
great
cousin Wong keeps telling me we have to go out to Halifax.
Shout out to Wong.
Quake.
I just
KO.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can keep going.
Yeah,
I keep
KO's
going.
dope. KO's dope.
We used to play. I was in a live group, the Extremities, with my man Uncle Fester. I got to shout out Uncle Fester, who's my
Yes,
literally
please,
my
Uncle Fester
Extremities.
Ball.
Extremities, my
Please,
live
Is
group.
Uncle Fester bald?
No.
Ah!
Extremities was
And we were dope. We still are dope. But we used to open the Jazz Fest shows, and one night we got to open De La Soul, and the people that booked De La were like, yo, Kils. They found out that I worked with Alicia Muhammad from Chocolate Quest.
Can you stun on them?
And they were like, yo,
hold on.
I opened up for De La,
Hold
but they
on,
found
hold
out
on,
I worked with
hold on.
Alicia Muhammad.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. So
Wait.
Hold on.
the story is crazy.
Hold on.
Wait a minute, are we live?
I gotta do this.
Straight.
I gotta do this.
Let him finish the story.
So they,
Gotta get that sauce. Hold on. I gotta get that sauce on.
We're live.
That sauce on.
Mama's calling.
1, 2. Stun on them one time like that.
Alright,
so the organizers find out that I worked with Alicia Muhammad, so they're like, "Can you help us get in touch with him to book him?" I was like, "Of course." So I sent the information, and then they booked Alicia Muhammad and us to open for De La at the Halifax Jazz Fest. Then Ghetto Socks books Beat Nuts to fucking do the after party.
Stun on them.
So we do the show. We go to the after party, and little do we know that while this all is going on, they're shooting a film or a TV series, whatever the fuck they're shooting.
Go.
And Angela Bassett is in town.
Go.
With the dude with the hair from CSI, the really beautiful. He's a beautiful black man. Beautiful black man. What's his name?
Go.
CSI Miami.
Go.
You know the guy.
Oh, Shamar Moore?
Hello,
Yeah. So I'm at the bar.
LL Cool J. You mean the
I'm at the bar, and me and Fester are standing there with Ghetto Socks.
I can't. He's not bald?
No, he's got the fro shit. He's got
I know what he's talking about. I don't remember his
Fester,
name.
yeah, no,
It's the light skinned guy with the eyes.
Let him go.
I'm at the bar. It's De La Soul, Alicia Muhammad, the Peanuts, Angela Bassett, and me and my boy are like, this ain't real. This shit ain't real. And my dude from Magnolias is like, I got, and he tries to pick up Angela Bassett. He's just like, he tries to pick up.
I would have done the same thing.
Would I not?
We could see her aura, man. Her aura was yellow. Her aura was like, she was like
How much drugs were you on to see her aura?
No,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. She has a glow to it.
Listen, I would have tried to pick her up, but I would not. I would
She
not
has a
see her
glow to it.
Guys, I appreciate all that.
Put it
shit.
together. Let's put it
We're
together.
about to finish the show. I want to make sure we finish on the right note.
Can we look right now?
No.
Can we put it together right now?
Right before we go, Fresh Kils.
Take the quick pick. Take the quick pick. Well,
what do you have going on right now that you want the people to know? Let them know the website.
I got a new record
Other
coming
than
out.
you, Jay.
Why are you talking
No,
about
I got a new record coming out on Earthnet in the spring.
This is a new
I
record.
can't wait for it. I'm super nervous about it, so
The solo
just
record?
accept it. It's a solo record.
We
and,
accept
I'm really
it.
excited about it. Off
Okay.
Earthnet.
What's the
Respect to
website?
Earthnet.
What's the website?
Did you say you were sorry about it?
What's the website?
No.
what's the website?
Oh, freshkills.com. 1L.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us right now. What I want you to do
Not
right now, before I even get to that, go to YouTube, press Fresh Kils.
What is that?
Hold on.
K-I-L.
When you go to YouTube, there's a button that says Fresh Kils, right?
Fresh Kils. Fresh Kils.
2 words, 1L on an S.
Price is Right. Do yourself a favor. If you've ever watched The Price is Right, you love Price is Right. If you've ever seen Fresh Kils, you love Fresh Kils. Fresh Kils, Price is Right. Do it, bro. Can I do this?
No, you can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is okay. I'm off.
Just
Right
open it next.
now. No.
Are we stopping?
Thank you. I want to thank you guys for coming here, coming to the website, watching us right there. Yes. Oh, hold on. Baby watch.
Hold on.
No.
One last announcement.
We're not saying who.
No,
We're not saying who. We're just saying
Baby watch.
Manasseh.
Baby
Look
watch.
at his face.
Baby
I'm
watch.
gonna say Nathan.
Don't do that.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Can't say
Fresh Kils for coming through. Thank you for Fresh Kils for coming
Look,
through.
man, look.
I want to thank DJ Bylon.
Ah! Makes me horny. He makes me horny.
DJ Shortcut coming through. It's part of Max now. Ladies and gentlemen,
TV.
we're still on season 2. Wait until season 3 comes through. We're not even there yet, but we want to thank you for being here.
Why do you keep playing that?
Why do you keep hearing that?
Yo, this is the Shot Club.
We want to thank you guys.
David Solid, Mo Little,
Stop by Fresh Kils.
Cheza, and our guest, Fresh Kils. Thanks for reaching with us. See you at the same time next week.